Cloud Dance sees this, the corner of the mouth raises. This face is really good, looking also pleasing to the eye, however, just that one is also very good. Not as good as change to the previous one. Smell speech, error beast facial expression stiff for a while. Aren't you in love with the man with this face? Cloud Dance also nodded directly. Yes, but I found that your previous face is more interesting. Change it back. The beast seemed to hesitate for a moment. However, the beautiful facial features of Dragon Xia were transformed back to the lofty appearance. This sublime in front of us is younger than the sublime we have seen in Yunwu. Or better. Yunwu then stood up from the white clouds and walked to the lofty front. Hand gently touched the face, a face like appreciation. This face looks very good. The more I see, the more pleasing to the eye. Then use this face. Pa. Words did not finish, a slap. Crisp clapped the Cloud Dance that hand. See only lofty that figure, already a turn back. In the twinkling of an eye, it turned back to the petite and beautiful woman figure before. On the charming and beautiful face, there is a touch of deep anger at this time. You are a woman who has changed her mind? The woman looked at the Cloud Dance, as if she saw something extremely disgusting and angry. The Cloud Dances to smell speech. Take back the hand that is patted to open. Also don't care to like young mouth smile. So each other. You don't seem to be any better than me, do you? Your bullshit. The woman was a little emotional. What's wrong with me? Just now, didn't you say you wanted to live here with me? In order to cater to my liking, it has become a man's look, but... Speaking of this, Cloud Dance paused way. Just don't know your lover, now in the end is life or death. If he knows you abandoned him for me, he doesn't know. See, Cloud Dance, that words have not finished. All around the calm and serene sky. Suddenly the clouds rolled up. Not for a moment. Dark clouds, a sense of oppression straight from the attack. Shut up, soft voice, suddenly very sharp drink. On the beautiful face of the woman. It was as if she was ferocious. In a flash, the space is distorted, powerful and sharp, and almost instantaneously hits the cloud. Right now, Cloud Dance eyes a Lin, in the hands of thunder elements toss jump. As soon as he moved, he took advantage of the moment when his mood changed, and came in a flash, holding his wrist tightly. ZZ. Electric current ZZ sound, clearly visible in the woman's body winding up. The false beast belongs to the wind system. Rickshaw. The body, which was originally solid, gradually turned into a state of white shadow when surrounded by lightning. A scream like scream suddenly burst into the air. The elements of Cloud Dance and thunder are surging up. I just want to catch it with the elements of thunder. But at this time, all around suddenly a twist. Dense clouds, space such as glass fragments in general, burst into pieces, whistling hurricane, in an instant. This also makes Cloud Dance's face suddenly a Lin, because at this time, she could see clearly that she was in the hurricane on the cliff, whirling around the hurricane like a knife and saw, the cold light shining against her, as if the next second, all hit her. At this time, my mind suddenly sounded the voice of black pride. Let's get it out of the way now. Contract? The second that Cloud Dance hears speech, sign is stunned. Can the ghost be contracted? Summoner, can't you only contract Warcraft? She is familiar with the book of historical records of this strange world, but she has never seen it. It can also be seen in the soul. What's more, it's still a ghost. Why are you still in a daze? Although the false beast is a ghost, it is also a divine beast. When it slows down, I can't save your life now. Seems to be aware of the Cloud Dance has not moved. Black proud rapid voice again. Since I got to know Hyo, I have never heard that he was in a hurry. Cloud Dance at this time is also a quick reaction. Although Cloud Dance didn't expect to contract it at the beginning. However, Hyo's words awakened her. This false beast, though it is a ghost. However, a wisp of ghosts can form a hurricane cliff that even the youth is afraid of. We can see how strong its strength is. If she can get the contract, it's good for her too. At the moment, the clouds dance and the mind close. At the same time of mobilizing the internal force, the mental force suddenly rises. The battle of contracts. The voice began to murmur. At that moment, a dazzling color light flashed out in such a raging hurricane. Then a mighty breath set off a mysterious totem array, from the cloud dance with the wrong beast at the foot of gush out. The hurricane voice in the air was cut off in an instant. In the array of colored light, it is like a cage that can never escape, and it rolls away from the body of the evil beast. At the sight of the breath, the false beast, entangled by thunder and lightning, suddenly froze. You are the summoner. Canthus-like sharp voice suddenly changed. But the next second, it's like meeting something that's extremely scared but extremely angry and yelling. Almost did not think. White shadow suddenly a twist, seems to want to break away from the hands of cloud dance. But the more it struggles, the more dazzling the color light of the array. All of a sudden, a green light came out of the contract array and hit its white eyebrow. Struggle, stop. Angry cry, also at that moment quiet down. The green light quietly wrapped it, but the array at the foot gradually closed. Finally, the array turns into a green light, which is divided into two. One into the package of false beast, the road within the green light. A straight into the cloud of eyebrows. At that moment, a light green light flashed on Cloud Dance's right finger. When the light disappeared, a green ring of contract was wrapped around her finger. And it was then, a wonderful spiritual connection also formed a line between her and the false beast. The green light wrapped with the false beast began to fade away, revealing its original appearance. Master. The pleasant and comfortable call came. I saw that the ghost of the white shadow had turned into a snow-white rabbit. Some of them are special. They have big green eyes, long white tail and pink rabbit ears. Very cute. Even the cloud dance, which has always been disliked by small animals, can't help but be surprised and want to reach out and squeeze it. However, Yunwu had some doubts at this time. Because at the time of the contract, she just opened the contract array, and did not choose the master-servant contract or the equal contract at all. However, the contract array came down on its own. Moreover, this summoner can contract the ghost's body. It's so strange. But where does Yunwu know? Maybe it's strange for others. However, she is unique. The 7 elements in her body were originally obtained by swallowing the 7 source fruits. And she is the blood of the witches, and she has awakened the power of the witches twice. This is the first wizard summoner in history. Naturally, it is different from ordinary summoners. Of course, Cloud Dance doesn't know this at this time. After the formation of the contract, all around the hurricane, began to gradually calm down. At this time, a figure, also from the gradual retreat of the hurricane, rapid takeoff. Little thing. The cry came before the man arrived. Yunwu reached out and hugged the false beast, which turned into a rabbit. Its name is Baishware. Turn your head, and look at the man coming straight from below. However, when he saw his ragged appearance, his brow could not help frowning, but a touch of heartache flashed through his eyes. This silly man must have just followed her, and rushed into the hurricane. Otherwise I would not be so embarrassed. As soon as Dragon Qingxia came up, her eyes looked around her first. Are you all right? It's okay, but how did you get into this? Cloud Dance looks at him and asks. Long Qingxia lowered his head and swept his eyes. He didn't pay much attention to his clothes, which were cut by sharp weapons. It's okay. I was swept by the wind tail in the hurricane just a few times. Just a few sweeps? If you look at the scars on his body, you know that's not the case. Although Baishware is a ghost, she knows how to create space in the wind. I'm afraid she also uses the same method to the dragon. However, he didn't say it, and Yunwu no longer asked. It's this guy in your arms who made the noise. At this time, the dragon's eyes fell on the white rabbit in Yunwu's arms. Xuebaier's green eyes glanced at the dragon, then closed. It seems that I don't like the guy in his words. However, as a god beast, even if it is just a ghost contracted by human beings, it still retains some so-called arrogance. Well, that's it. However, its story is a little long. I'll tell you when I have time to go down to the bottom of the cliff to see if there is any other way out. Let's get out of here first. The wind of this hurricane cliff has begun to subside. I don't know if the strange boy will still be on the cliff. If he's still there, it's really hard to catch up. Even if she contracted by Schwer now, however, that young man's strength is extremely strange and powerful. Once you start, you may not be able to help that teenager. So let's leave the forest first. Good. Dragon Qingxia reaches for Yunwu's waist and prepares to return to the bottom of the cliff. Wait! Look at that! The cloud dances the sharp eye to sweep, that not far away on the cliff unusual. I saw that it was covered by green vines, like a more hidden cave. The wind in the cliff has stopped, though it's still dark. However, without the strange hurricane, we can see the surrounding environment clearly. Dragon and cloud dance to the convex stone on the cliff. Found that the cave is not big, just a person's height. Outside is the green vine weeds growing. If the cloud eye, I'm afraid some difficult to find the existence of this cave. It's just that they haven't been waiting for long Qingxia and Yunwu to enter. A strange force came from the cave. Yunwu and Long Qingxi frowned as soon as they felt the power. A tacit look at each other. Because the strange power from the cave is nothing else. Just before in mid-air. It's a strange force that suddenly makes Yunwu stiff and heavy. Just like now, just as soon as it's near the hole. Yunwu felt that his body was stiff and heavy. The more he went in, the heavier his steps were. However, I do not know why, the closer she is, the faster her heart beats. It's like there's something in it that's attracting her. However, her body became so strange, and it seemed that something was preventing her from approaching. What the hell is that? At this time, compared with Cloud Dance, Dragon Qingxia seems to be better, just feel a little resistance, not much change. See Cloud Dance body strange, Dragon Qing evil frown way. Little thing, or you wait here, I go in to have a look. No matter what was in the cave, he didn't want her to take risks. Yunwu shakes her head and stares at the dark cave quietly. Take me in. Although I don't know why. However, she had a strong desire to go in. Long Qingxia frowned and stared at Yunwu for a long time. Finally, he didn't say anything more. Bend over and pick her up. Hold me tight, if you feel uncomfortable. Or if something happens, I'll take you to run. Long Qingxia is serious. Yunwu raised his mouth and put his hands around his neck. Don't worry, this time I won't let go. The love for men is very warm at the bottom of my heart. Dragon Qing evil smell speech. The corner of the mouth evil spirit smile arc also outline. Immediately, hold her to walk toward the cave. Inside the cave. There was no light in the darkness. It's just as soon as you walk into the lacquer black hole. Two people felt a cool wet idea hit. But it's not water. But in the air, there is a strange feeling of moisture. Although the cloud dance is held by the dragon, the heaviness in the body seems to increase a lot as soon as you enter the cave. The footstep of the man, aggravate slow a bit. Cloud dance at this time, a turn on the hand, a flame suddenly rose from her palm. The light enveloped me. This also let two people see clearly, here inside the cave situation. Almost at the same time. They both took a deep breath. What's this? The cemetery of the mass grave? Or the execution ground? In the narrow cave at the entrance, there is a very spacious space. On the cliff of the whole cave, there are dead bodies hanging. The rock cliffs full of walls are almost dyed red by blood. The blood red on the ground dyed the soil bags red. This is a cave full of corpses. The only weird thing is, whether it's a fragmented corpse or a corpse whose internal organs are all dug up, all of them are alive. As if she had just died. There was no smell of blood in the air, but it was full of that strange heavy pressure. It's a little nauseous. Even if this Dragon Qingxia and Cloud Dance are both full of blood, I was really surprised by the picture in front of me. Who on earth did it? This situation should not be caused by Warcraft. If it was Warcraft, it would not hang up the corpse and dry the blood on it. And keep a corpse so fresh. Fresh keeping? This word just passed through Yunwu's mind, but suddenly trembled at the bottom of my heart. Is it going to be Dada? At this time a small step came. Cloud Dance immediately put away the fire element in her hand. Dragon Qingxia holds Cloud Dance, body shape of flash, straight toward the corner of a convex stone after hiding. And just as they were hiding, see a corner of the cave, like a boulder moving sound came. After a while, two black-robed men with masks came out of the stone gate. It's strange how I feel that the wind outside the cliff seems to have stopped. The man in black, dragging a corpse in, said strangely. However, another black-robed man was impatient. Come on, don't chirp. The wind from the hurricane cliff has been blowing for hundreds of years. How can we stop it? We need to get rid of the corpse and send food to the people in the cell later. Hearing his companion's impatient voice, the man in black who first spoke seemed to be unhappy. Why are you angry with me when you are sent here? I'm still angry. It's the old man who died in the cell. If the old man doesn't have a hard mouth, why do we have to suffer here? Well, instead of complaining here, it's better to figure out how to get the treasure back from the old man. All the methods have been used up. Now he doesn't speak even when his wife and daughter die in front of him. What else can he do? He doesn't have a grandson. I didn't catch it. What do you know? It's a matter of time before the leader orders the people to be arrested. 2 black-robed men hang the dragged body on the wall. He left the stone gate again. And hiding behind the stone, Dragon Qingxia dances with the clouds, which naturally brings their conversation to our ears. This cave is estimated to be the warehouse for storing food in the Gate of Beasts. Cloud Dance swept an eye that just was hanged 2 corpses. The bottom of the heart has a feeling of depression. It was a woman from number 1 middle school. Her eyes were wide open, and her eyes were full of fear. It seems that from that eye, we can see the pain and panic they suffered before they died. However, what disgusts Yunwu's heart is, I thought that the people of the 10,000 Beast sect were just experimenting with Warcraft, but did not think actually also edible human corpse? Let's go and have a look. Cloud Dance slants ahead toward the dragon to pour evil to whisper to say. Long Qingxia looks at her. Then, without asking any more questions, he took her and walked towards the stone gate. Leaving the cave, the strange heaviness disappeared from Yunwu. Behind the stone gate is a dark passage. Among them, there are many forks, leading to where the dragon and Cloud Dance do not know. However, Yunwu felt that at one end of the passage, something seemed to attract her. Follow your intuition. Until I came to an exit. Pa. The sound of whistling and whipping came from the exit. Yunwu turned his head and looked at the dragon with a tacit understanding. Then he came closer slowly. It was an underground cell filled with all kinds of torture tools. As soon as it got close, a musty stench and a trace of blood came to my face. At this point, I saw an old man in his 60s tied to the shelf outside the cell. A black-robed man was greeting the bloody old man with a hot pepper whip. Not yet. Pa. The whip, the brush, the whip. As if he was not afraid to beat the old man to death. Come and have dinner. At this time from another channel, came out a man in black with food. He whipped the old man in black, and then he stopped. What's good today? I'm starving. What's good to eat in this place? Don't be fussy. By the way, give this medicine to the old man first, so that he won't die. The man in black glanced at the old man on the shelf, and threw a medicine bottle in his hand. It's trouble. I read a broken sentence. But the black-robed man went over and poured the medicine in the medicine bottle into the old man's mouth. I saw the old man who was dying. After being infused with the medicine, the body turned up a black air, and the breath seemed to recover in an instant. Vitality restored? Hiding in the dark channel of the cloud, see this scene. There was a trace of surprise in my heart. Little thing, that's not a good thing. If you take that medicine, you can't stop breathing, but your whole body is useless. What? Is it useless? Yunwu opened his eyes slightly, and couldn't help looking at the old man in the cell. What did the old man take from the beast gate? How could he be forced to confess in such a way? But at this moment, the old head on the shelf suddenly felt something, suddenly gasped. Then he turned his head suddenly. Eyes straight to the Cloud Dance with Dragon Qing evil shrink in the position. Hoarse voice like roar. Help me. The Cloud dances with the dragon to pour evil facial expression to suddenly sink. However, at that moment, they had a tacit understanding. 2 figures flashed out of the secret passage. One of them attacked the man in black. The cold light swept away. Blood spattered. The 2 black-robed people also reacted, and they were directly breathed out in their astonished eyes. Who is it? How can I break into this? It's a pity that they have to ask Yama for the answer. Without causing any movement, Long Qingxia and Yunwu turned around and looked at the old man who was tied on the shelf. This old man, in such a situation, just found out their existence? Who are you? It's Cloud Dance. Because she this close only then discovered. The strange feeling that always attracted her came from the old man. See that old man, after seeing I dragon to pour evil, then also fell on Cloud Dance's body. After a while, then he saw a touch of comfort on his pale face. More than 10 years later, I didn't expect that you have grown so big. Your mother should be at ease now. There was a trace of vicissitudes in the old man's hoarse voice. Cloud Dance is a lung. What do you mean? He met her more than 10 years ago? You know her mother? You know my mother? Cloud Dance frowns. Yes. The necklace around your neck is the one I gave to her. What? He gave it to her mother? Isn't he a witch? But if he is a wizard, how can he? However, in Yunwu's mind, the old man's hoarse voice said just after the doubt, Child, you are the only hope of the sorcerers. Before awakening, remember that people have ulterior motives. Don't blindly trust anyone, including the closest relatives and loved ones around you. At the end of the day, the old man looked at the dragon. Long Qingxia was in the old man's sight, and his brow couldn't help wrinkling. Cloud Dance smelled speech, but did not answer his words. She was not stupid. She knew what he meant. However, she is a cold person, can let her trust very few. What's more, her caution has already come from instinct. But once it's the person she identified, even if it's the devil from hell, she also recognized, since you know my mother, should you know where she is now? Cloud Dance looks at that old man to ask away. She doesn't care about witches. But everything that happened to her came from the involvement of the witches. Among them, maybe because of her mother. Before, Yun Lingshui said that her mother was imprisoned by the housekeeper Wu Gang. She wanted to find Wu Gang, but too much happened during that time. Now the old man seems to know a lot. However, the old man heard the words, but did not answer her. But the line of sight fell on the dragon to pour evil body to see one eye. The eye ground vigilance is clearly visible. After that, he turned to Cloud Dance and said, Son, it's not the right time. One day, when the power of witchcraft in your body is fully awakened, many things will be clear to you. Full awakening? She has awakened for the second time. Does she need to wake up later? Cloud Dance frowns, just want to ask again. The old man's face suddenly changed, as if he had noticed something. Son, this is not the place you should come to for the time being. Go quickly. Before you have the ability, remember, don't be discovered by the people of the 10,000 Beast Gate. The old man immediately urged Yunwu to leave. I'll take you away. Yunwu still has too many things to understand. It's not easy to meet such an old man who knows the event. How can he leave like this? What's more, there was always a strange feeling in her heart. It seems that the old man has something to do with her. Just when Yunwu wanted to split the old man's rope, Long Qingxia quickly put out his hand to stop him. Little thing, his body has been connected with the black vine. If you chop it down, what you are afraid of may be his life. Long Qingxia's words make the Cloud Dance move rigidly in place. Hiding? Joined together? Cloud Dance eyes sweep away, find really a look, heart inexplicable affright. It was found that the bundle on the old man was not the black rope, but a black cane like a bundle. The vines were connected to the ground, and the roots of black vines covered the whole ground. Besides, the old man's feet were nailed under the tree trunk. It felt like the whole person was planted on the ground. Extremely cruel. Yunwu's face suddenly sank, and there was a wave of anger in his eyes. Don't worry about me, child. I want to die, but come here and I'll tell you something. The old man looked at Cloud Dance happily, but said anxiously, Yunwu knows that the old man seems to be on guard against dragon's evil. However, at this time Cloud Dance did not explain too much. Step forward. The old man whispered a few words in her ear. Cloud Dance, after hearing, eyes brush a touch of strange color. Child, remember, the witch clan will depend on you in the future. If you meet my grandson one day, as long as you tell me your identity, he will naturally give you things. The old man said, as if to account for the last words, no regrets. Then he turned his head and looked at Long Qingxia and said, Young master, this child will please you. The man is coming. Take her away from here. The farther the better. Long Qingxia looks at the old man with dark eyes. But he didn't say anything. He stretched out his hand and swept over the cloud dancing waist, turned around and took her away from the secret road. And just after Long Qingxia and Yunwu left for a while, the sound of a heavy stone door moving came from the dungeon. After a while, a man in black robe came in slowly. But I just walked in. The man in black seemed to be aware of something, and the whole dungeon suddenly spread a wave. He's heading for the passageways in front of and behind the dungeon, but it didn't seem to find any trace. In this dark dungeon, there are still people who can break in? A voice of silence came from under the black robe. In the twinkling of an eye, see that black robe figure, remnant shadow in a flash, already stood in front of that old man. You gave it in? Under the black robe, the white and handsome one finally appeared ferocious. The old man didn't even look up and gave a cold hum. The national master thinks that I have something to hand over all over my body? This man, no one else. It was the master of Longshu State, Mo Yebing. I didn't expect that after so many years, you are still so stubborn. Ink Night Ice, that pale handsome face, slightly raised a touch of radiance. But the next second, poof, the sound of flesh and blood. The white hand under the black robe penetrated the old man's abdomen. The old man's eyes burst out, and he couldn't lift them in a breath. His whole face turned purple instantly. In this case, every day from now on, I'll take something from you. When you open your mouth, I'll stop. Ink Night Ice's low cold voice just fell the white hand out. His white hands were red with blood. A gut in his hand. But when his palm spread out, a white flame leaped from his palm. The blood and the intestine turned into dust in an instant. Hands are white and clean again. Enjoy the process. Cold words just finished. That black robe figure in a flash. In an instant, he went to the secret way where the dragon had just left with the cloud. At this time, the old man seemed to have just gasped. But that purple face. But suddenly, because of abdominal pain and distortion, blue veins skyrocketed up. The wound in his abdomen. Under the automatic tightening of hiding, the black light emitted and began to heal. However, it would only double the pain throughout his body. Black rattan wrapped around him. With the medicine, let him die anyway. However, the pain is endless. Hoo-hoo. The howling sound of hurricane cliff wind is still blowing wildly at night. Standing in the black hole of the ice, eyes looking at the blowing hurricane. All of a sudden, a strange and powerful force, straight from the black hole as the center point, swept around. Half a ring. It's the power that's coming back. The doubts in the fundus of the eyes began to sink down gradually. Even he can't get in the hurricane roll of Hurricane Cliff. There shouldn't be anyone coming in from here. Who is it? Where can it come from? And from the bottom of his eyelids. It's been a long time. Mo Yebing put away her suspicion and turned back. But I don't know. This scene is all seen by the dragon and cloud dance in the hurricane. However, at this time, they almost did not dare to breathe, let alone action. Because just now they saw it with their own eyes. It was under the strange power of sweeping that all the living plants and plants from the cave turned into a wisp of dust in an instant. And the body in the hurricane, they seemed to be able to feel that force in cold hegemony. What kind of power has that got to? It's estimated that even the dragon can't see the evil. Can see that Ink Night Ice, Long Qing evil, that double eye Mao is unusually deep cold. Embrace the hand of cloud dance, also unconsciously tightened up. Yunwu turns her head and looks at the man beside her. When I saw his black eyes, I seemed to see something from his eyes. However, she did not say anything, did not ask. She is waiting for when he is willing to show his identity to her. 2 nights a day. When the sun rises from the east on the 3rd day, the edge of the forest of a steep mountain road, and finally out of the 2 figures. It's no one else. It's dragon and cloud dancing. The exit under the cliff is steep and winding, which is difficult to walk. But along the way, it was quite calm. At least, I didn't meet the people of the Beast Gate. Just 2 people, just walked out of that mountain road. On the side of the stream, I met more than a dozen young girls who were playing and laughing. One by one wearing the same clothes. Looks like a college uniform. When you see clouds dancing with dragons, all the noise and laughter seem to stop instantaneously. A road vision, want to see silly eyes, stare at cloud dance and dragon Qing evil 2 people. And then, cloud dance seems to just remember. She and Dragon Poor Evil at this time are not easy to look. Beautiful girl. An evil man. Two people with an unusual eye-catching scenery, at this moment by the dozen line of sight, staring straight at. However, in those eyes, Cloud Dance finally can't help but slightly frown, toward the sideman way. Go. Find a town first. After walking in the mountains for 2 days, originally, they were going to wash by the stream. But at this time, we have to give up. Yunwu really doesn't like being seen as a monkey. Long Qingxia doesn't know the little woman around him. He just wants to nod his head and leave with her. A young man with a trace of heroism stepped forward. You two come down from Nanshan? Nanshan. The steep mountain road they passed is called Nanshan? Dragon Qingxia and Cloud Dance didn't speak. The young man was quite familiar. He continued with a gentle smile. It's said that if you cross the Nanshan mountain, you will be deep in the southern Warcraft forest. However, there is a hurricane cliff. The hurricane on the hurricane cliff is enough to crush people. It's very dangerous. If you want to experience in the forest, why don't you join us? We are the students of Longziguo Chief Representative College, Longkong Warrior College. Longxugua? Is this the boundary of Longziguo? Cloud Dance smell speech, can't help but pick eyebrows. However, her subtle action let the youth see in the eyes, but think that they are Dragon and Sky Warrior Academy, and surprised. When the young man introduced their college, there were about 10 students behind him, and there was a trace of pride in his eyes. You know Longshu Junior High School, who doesn't want to enter Longkong Warrior Academy? It's just like in the Zhou Dynasty, who doesn't want to enter the Shenwang Samurai Academy. However, listen to what the boy said. He mistakenly thought that Dragon Qingxia and Cloud Dance wanted to enter the forest to experience. But it was blocked by Hurricane Cliff, and turned back. For this misunderstanding, Long Qingxia and Yunwu will not explain. Thank you for your kindness, but no more. Dragon Qing evil mouth slightly yawn not smile. With that, he walked side by side with Yunwu, ready to cross him. But the boy held out his hand and blocked their way. As the saying goes, meeting is predestined relationship. What's the matter? Two of you also leave a name to make it convenient for us to meet each other in the future, right? Yes, where do you live? Look at your age, you should also be studying in college. Which college are you from? See, that youth words fall. Behind those men and women also went up front, blocked the way. I've seen people chatting up, but I've never seen them. These teenagers are blocking other people's way. It's like trying a criminal. To be honest, it's really noisy. However, in this chaos, at the beginning of the youth, has been crowded in front of Yunwu. Young and handsome face, smile is very gentle and polite. Girl, I am the Prince of Longziguo 15 Longjing Bridge. The Prince of Longziguo? Looking at the trend behind Shun, the boy who deliberately came forward, Yunwu couldn't help looking at him a little more. Longsan is the third prince of Longziguo. The Longjing Bridge in front of us ranks 15. That's Longsan's brother? The Cloud Dance is the line of sight. Pours to sweep a circle on this Longjing Bridge body. Want to see a glimmer of familiarity from him. What a pity. It's not half the same. Instead, her gaze at the Longjing Bridge made the men around her dissatisfied. The long arm is outstretched. A moment for overbearing embrace her into the bosom. She's my woman. You don't have to hit her anymore. Get out of the way. Originally, this man's temper was too evil to be understood. But it seems that when I meet this woman, my temper seems to become inexplicable and domineering. It's just that. That Longjing Bridge heard, originally quite gentle face, brush a touch of cold killing. He is the Prince of Longshu. Moreover, he is the most favorite prince of the country today. When did anyone dare to speak to him in such a tone? Don't say that he has a crush on the woman in front of him now. Even if he doesn't have one, as long as he wants to. Who dares not to follow in Longziguo? That's why, at the beginning of Longjing Bridge, they stepped forward to prevent them from leaving. In the territory of Longshu, no one heard his name. Dare not give him face? But it's obvious that these two people in front of them don't give face. If you want to go, you can leave your name first. Longjing Bridge raised his eyes to meet the evil eyes of the dragon. and his pretty face was cold. Dragon Qing evil smell speech. The face seems to raise a strange sneer. Do you want my name or her name? When Longjing Bridge heard the words, it also gave a cold hum, but it also showed a sense of hegemony. I'm not interested in men. Is it? Long Qingxia sneer deepened a little. But it's a pity that she's not interested in men who don't have eyes, is she, little thing? Say Longqing evil return true turn head, looking at Cloud Dance to ask away. Originally, Cloud Dance was not supposed to speak, but to watch a play. Can Dragon Qing evil suddenly asked, let Cloud Dance a burst of laughing and crying. If this man is really impatient, he will slap these people in the air. When he asked her in public, he was just a little childish. However, he even likes to play like this, so she'll accompany him. Yes. I don't like things that don't have eyes, except you, of course. Cloud Dance nods to say, but added such a sentence finally. Dragon Qing evil smell speech, discontented like pinched her that thin waist. This little thing really doesn't comfort him at all. However, in Cloud Dance that word's a nod reply, but let that Longjing Bridge facial expression become extremely ugly. How dare you call me something that doesn't have eyes? Voice suddenly gloomy anger. Yes. It's just a fact. Cloud Dance said with an indifferent sincere face. Long Qingxia raised her eyes and kneaded her hair with a smile, but she said to Yunwu with a serious face. You little thing, I've told you for a long time. Sometimes, don't speak so sincerely. Even if he doesn't have eyes, don't speak out. Look, he looks so ugly. Yes, you are right. Yunwu couldn't agree. This one sings one in one, but lets the present person's facial expression not be very good looking actually. Especially the Longjing Bridge. It's almost as if I'm angry. Well, you are a bold and unruly man. Since you are so ungrateful, don't blame me for being rude to you. A drink, the Dragonwell Bridge fighting off the moment, a sword out of the air. The talent of the youth level, the later stage of the 4th level. This talent and strength is much better than the group of students of the King Warrior Academy that Cloud Dance met outside the Northern Warcraft Forest. Presumably in Longshu's country, this talent is very good. I can see that Longjing Bridge is in such a posture. After that, more than a dozen students were all fighting, and their swords were flying. One by one in a row, there is a kind of model momentum that is called a handsome. It's just that. No matter how handsome their posture and momentum are, they have the highest strength in the later stage of the 4th level. In the eyes of Long Qingxia and Yunwu, they are not really good enough. However, Long Qingxia and Yunwu didn't want to fight with them. Well, stop playing and let's go. Cloud Dance turns ahead and says toward the dragon. Long Qingxia shrugged. Okay, listen to you. 2 people as if no one else like finish, also over the line of more than a dozen people, ready to leave. This is a move. But it's very angry. In particular, the posture is very good, more than a dozen students. This face is not good looking at the moment. They are organized and trained from the college. Originally, I was going to go to the Warcraft Forest to find some Warcraft that I could practice my skills and improve the skills I learned in the college. All of them are gifted children, which once thought, this forest has not gone in, but met so 2 beautiful men and women. It looks weak too, but arrogant too. In public ridicule scold them as not long eyes of things even. Now still so ignore them. It's arrogant. If we don't teach them a lesson today, we will think that the people in Longkong Warrior Academy are incompetent. What are you doing? Do it. The conversation just fell behind. I saw that more than a dozen students, led by Longjing Bridge, immediately raised their swords, danced to the clouds with an angry face, and swept away with Dragon's evil spirits. It's all your fault. Do it yourself. Cloud Dance head also didn't return, just whispered to the man nearby. Dragon Qing evil mouth outline, evil spirit smile. It is really noisy some, then let them shut up. Words fall. Just now, the tall figure who was still dancing in the clouds passed by in a flash. Pa pa pa. There was a very orderly sound. Ah scream, also in an instant very orderly ring out. When the man comes back to Yunwu, just after the attack of more than a dozen students, has been lying on the ground, ouch groan. One by one his face was swollen like a pig's head, green and purple. But at this time, More than a dozen people were staring at the dragon in surprise and panic, including the Longjing Bridge. How fast is that man's speed just now? Before they could react to this, they just slapped a dozen of them on the ground. What's more, they hit them in the face without hitting them anywhere. Did he mean it? But it also surprised them one by one. Little thing, what's the matter? Is my husband just handsome? The dragon looks at the clouds with a grin, and is extremely evil. This man really never forgets to ask for a reward at any time. Cloud Dance smile. Just want to nod, answer him. But at this time, there was a wave in the air. Yunwu's face suddenly sank. Long Qingxia's face was suddenly cold. They just wanted to escape, but it was too late. I saw that the thin boy in the gray robe had come from the twisted air, and stood up in the air. I thought you were crushed from the hurricane cliff, but suddenly the hurricane disappeared, but you are still alive. The young man's sharp and cold eyes are locked on Yunwu. From his eyes, it seemed that he could see the hot and strange color. However, at this time his eyes swept to Long Qingxia. When I saw his handsome and evil face, my eyes suddenly narrowed and looked at him like danger. You look like this. No wonder she'll be thinking about you. She of course means Cloud Dance. In that case, you can't keep your appearance. When the boy said that, his hands turned up, and the white flame leaped from the palm of his hand. Even in the daytime, when the white flame came out, the air was cold. I saw a dozen students lying on the ground groaning. When I saw this scene, my pupils shrank. Who are these people? Long Qingxia's eyes were cold at this time. It turns out that the son of the Grand Master of Long Shugua not only likes to win his wife's favor, but also envies the appearance of men. I saw that the words of Long Qingxia fell, and the students lay on the ground, all in a daze. Longjing Bridge was a little surprised, looked up, and looked at the boy in midair. The son of Long Shugua's national teacher? Is he the son of the national teacher? Looking at the boy, Longjing Bridge was puzzled and strange, because for the rumors of the son of the national master, as a prince he is really clear. It said that today's national master of Longshu State is over 100 years old, and he is the body of 9 yin. He knows heaven and yin and yang. As long as it is what he predicts, it will be 10 to 10. It's the same name as the national teacher of Zhou dynasty, who is known as divine divination. However, the national master of Longshu Kingdom is more mysterious than that of Zhou dynasty. Although he is a national teacher, he seldom participates in state affairs. In addition to the Lord of Longshu Kingdom, few people have seen the national teacher. Even the Longjing Bridge, which was favored by the Lord of Longshu Kingdom, only met the national master once in a grand ceremony many years ago. I'm dressed in black robes. I haven't even seen a face. However, the rumor about the son of the national master of Longshu Kingdom is the most bizarre one. As far as he heard, as soon as he was born, the son of the national teacher ate his mother. He was more pure yin than the 9 yin body of the national teacher. He was born without body temperature and fed with human blood. After the full moon, the national teacher sent him away from Longshu. As for where it was sent and what happened behind it, no one can know. Originally, Longjing Bridge was regarded as some hearsay, but it didn't take it seriously, because it's too exaggerated and illusory to eat your mother as soon as you are born. But I didn't think of it. Today, I heard that the boy who suddenly appeared in the air was the son of the national teacher. How could he not look more? However, Longjing Bridge line of sight, but it seems to provoke the air youth dissatisfaction. Sharp eyes Ali. In the air, the cold and oppressive force directly attacked him. This immediately scared Longjing Bridge face a white, quickly took back the line of sight. It's bad. It's not nearly pissed. My wife's terrible eyes. In fact, there are weak students lying on the ground. The young man also disdained to fight, just the breath of the cage in the past. The Longjing Bridge scared legs soft. It is really enough cowardly. At this point, however, no one is paying too much attention to them. I saw the boy in midair. On hearing the words of the dragon, his face was very cold, and it was a little chilly again. Wife. Looks? Murmured the youth's mouth son, suddenly a turn, pupil mouth flash, a peevish look to Cloud Dance. Are you really his wife? Like his face? This sentence asked inexplicably strange. However, it is not difficult to feel his intention of killing hidden in the anger. As long as Yunwu nods, he will kill Long Qingxi directly. Cloud Dance lifts Mao, purple pupil coldly looking at that youth, but didn't answer him. Her answer never needs to be answered by anyone. The silence of Yunwu made the boy look more and more ugly. His mood seemed to rise gradually, and the white flame in his hand also soared. Good. The voice became chilly. At this time, the evil spirit of the dragon rises. It seems that you really like my woman. Unfortunately. The words did not finish. The smile on the face of Long Qingxia instantly asterisked. An extreme cold was raised, and the black eyes under his eyes instantly transformed into golden pupils. Anyone who hits her will die. Almost at that moment, the épée came out. The tall figure had jumped up in the air and attacked directly. To die. Young people see this very disdain. As soon as his body flashed, the white flame turned into a white sword and went up. In his eyes, even Wuzuan is not enough to see. What's more, this man is just a Wuxing level. Just in that next instant, the youth originally disdained the eye bottom, suddenly brushed a color of amazement. Failed to meet? Dragon Qing evil figure, under his attack, suddenly disappeared without a trace. How is that possible? In front of him, can anyone be faster than him? Behind him, suddenly a very small fluctuation hit. The young man's eyes narrowed in an instant, and he turned quickly. The white sword had already attacked. Bang! The two men's swords were against each other at that moment. A wanton roar like buzzing sword roar sounded in mid-air. See this scene. Which of the following students, such as Longjing Bridge, who had already got up from the ground, retreated to one side in horror, but can't help staring at the fight in the air? The man just disappeared in a flash, but in a twinkling of an eye, he was right. The roar of the two sides' swords was loud and buzzing. Even if separated in the air, you can clearly feel the fierce air. What strength has that achieved? Looking at the dragon in the sky, the next dozen students, remembering that they had just stopped them, immediately felt a cold sweat rising behind their back. It seems that he just slapped them in the face. He was really lenient. Cloud dances from the beginning, eyebrows lock up. However, it is at this moment. Long Qingxia and the sword in the young man's hand confront each other to a climax. Suddenly and abruptly, at the moment of separation, the force fluctuated like a raging wave. With two people as the center, it spreads fiercely. Although on the ground that hide to the side of the Longjing Bridge, and other students, face in an instant is a change. At the moment of reaction, more than a dozen people almost immediately aroused a fight and wrapped themselves up. However, it is still a little late. In the aftermath of that fierce, he was shot out of the internal injury. Poof, poof. More than a dozen people, almost at the same time, sprayed a mouthful of blood and turned pale. I'm afraid they didn't expect that the two people who stopped on the way would lead them to such a disaster. They're innocent. But when the buffer is too strong to see that just under the aftershock, still face unchanged, not subject to any fluctuations, standing there when the clouds. Longjing Bridge was hit again. What's going on? She looks like a teenager. Is her ability better than them? One by one, she suffered from internal injuries caused by aftershocks, but she was like a nobody. Ant girl danger, come here. Longjing Kyo at this time, but still gentleman Chaoyan dance called. She stood closer to the two men than they were fighting. Yunwu turns a deaf ear to the call. From the beginning, the sight was locked on the dragon's evil spirit in mid-air. She doesn't move, because when Dragon Qingxia moves, she whispers in her ear. It's a man-to-man thing. Men and men? Perhaps, at this time, many people will say a word. Beauty is a curse. But Yunwu never thought it was right. Why is beauty a disaster? The so-called beauty, but a superficial excuse. The so-called disaster is that she is not strong enough to confront her enemies. So her man to her guard she led. However, she would never allow anyone to hurt her at this time. The boy's eyes were fixed on the dragon, and his heart trembled in the dark. With his own strength, he can never be his opponent. However, his breath is, who are you? The numbness of the young man's palms and mouths is the result of the combination with the dragon's evil power. The palm of Long Qingxia's hand was also hurt. Even the son of a national teacher, he almost worked hard. If, at this time, he would be the national teacher, Long Qingxia's golden eyes are full of haze. Although the heart is not willing, but also reminded him. He still needs to keep a low profile, seeing that the dragon was silent. The young man's conjecture deepened a little. It seems that I have to invite my father out. The boy squinted and said coldly. Then the boy suddenly looked up. Ouch! A very sharp audio, which was like a beast but not a beast, suddenly came out of his mouth. Instantaneous sound amplification is thousands of miles away. At this moment, not only the dragon changed his face, even Cloud Dance is also in the instant face a startle, the eye-ground kill idea tongue rise. The figure suddenly jumped into the air, and the consciousness linked with the second layer of dead fire of Chaos Hall, and quickly led to the black mark on the wrist. When the palm turns and the dark flame leaps out, it instantly condenses into a black sword. There was no hesitation. Suddenly, he stabbed at the young man's heart. Seeing this, Long Qingxia has a tacit understanding. The ape pours black light into it and attacks back. Poof. Double swords into the body. The boy raised his head and yelled, then stopped. The young man slowly lowered his head and looked at the black sword that was inserted into his heart, and the ape that was used to his back. There's no blood coming out of the wound. Originally pale and pretty face began to twist. How dare you kill me? The boy squinted at the Cloud Dance. Yunwu looked at the boy with cold eyes. If you dare to move him, I will dare to kill you. In a word, the boy's eyes were full of ferocity. Okay, I'll kill you first. A crazy breath suddenly came out of the boy's body. The two swords inserted in his body were instantly ejected by the strange force. Yunwu's face changed, and he retreated for a long time to stabilize himself. And when he saw that he wiped off her black fire with a white flame, the wound in his heart healed strangely fast. Cloud Dance's heart suddenly jumped. The black fire coagulated sword was inserted into his heart. How could he do nothing? However, Yunwu noticed that there was no rhythm of healing when Long Qingxia was inserted into the wound that ran through his back. Can the dragon's evil power hurt the boy? But at this time, it was not the time to entangle with him, while the boy was still healing. The Cloud dances toward the dragon and drinks low. Go! Long Qingxia nodded in tacit agreement, and was preparing to leave. But in this moment, a strange twist directly monopolized their way. At that moment, the dragon and Cloud Dance felt that strange and strong breath came from afar. It's him. That night, they saw Long Shugua's national master, Mo Yebing, in the cave under Hurricane Cliff. See that black robe figure, a flash namely arrive. It's still far away, but not a few breaths, that tall black robe figure already appeared in front of everyone. Daddy, as soon as he saw the black-robed figure, his mood was obviously relieved. Ink night ice black robe under the deep black eyes, calm as water to see the eyes of the youth. With a flick of the hand, a black air came out of the white hand under the black robe and shrouded the young man's body. I saw that the young man's wound, which could not be healed, began to heal. Go back and eat something. Lukewarm sound cold came. At this moment, it seems that there is no sense of danger in this person. But only the dragon who had been blocked and danced with the clouds was very clear. In the face of this ink night ice, their hearts have that inexplicable shivering sense of horror. This Moibing is definitely not what they can face up to now. Dad. Before he finished speaking, the white hand under the black robe gently raised to stop him from speaking later. I know. Go back. What else did the boy want to say? However, my body has become like this, and I really need to go back to eat and supplement. So lift the eye haze to see Cloud dance after one eye, then body shape in a flash, immediately quickly toward the direction of deep forest. At this time, Mo Yebing's face under the black robe slowly emerged from under the black robe. His face was pale without any blood. Inexplicably, it gives people a strange feeling that it is a cold corpse. That night, you broke into my underground cell? It is still not warm, voice asked. At this time, the dragon and Cloud dance, each side of the direction. In the face of this ink night ice, there is a sense of crisis in my heart. The Cloud dance originally wanted to open a mouth, but the dragon poured evil but preempted to open a mouth. It turns out that the dungeon of the Beast Gate was the work of the national master. I don't know. The leader of the state of Longshu knows about it. The sound of Long Qingxia's smile was not concealed, which was enough for the following Longjing Bridge and a dozen students to hear clearly. It's no surprise that the dragon has fallen into evil. Let those students are stunned. Beast Gate? Where is that? National Division. There are underground cells? However, at this time, no one dares to say anything. Mo Yebing looks at Long Qingxia coldly with her eyes raised. When she sees his golden pupil, it seems that there is an undercurrent. So you are the household name of Long Shao. Long Shao. Is Long Shao the leader of the Dragon Pavilion with wealth all over the three kingdoms? Long Jingqiu and others were surprised when they heard the words. They secretly looked up at the dragon. It is said that Long Shao has always been mysterious. Even those who have met him cover their faces with half of the ghost mask. But I didn't think that the man who was blocked today was the little dragon. When the dragon heard the evil words, he drew the outline of his mouth, which was full of evil spirits. It seems that the master's sharp-eyed ability is really the same as in the legend. Mo Yebing's bloodless lips also raised slightly. Is that right? It's a normal conversation. But in the next second, Yunwu's face changed. Be careful. Before her voice fell, the picture on the other side had changed into another scene. Black robe figure, such as ghost virtual shadow, appeared in front of the dragon. White hands, dyed with a black air, directly attacked the dragon. The movement looks very plain and elegant. However, it is too fast to be caught by surprise. The moment that Dragon Qingxia's face sank, he suddenly jumped up and flashed. Hiss! The sound of clothes being cut and torn. Long Qingxia's abdominal clothes were torn open, and a bloodstain oozed from it. Moibing is not attacking. And then stood in the air, cold eyes looking at the dragon. This is the wound you made to my son. After hearing the words, the dragon reached out and stroked his lower abdomen. When you see the blood stained with a trace of black gas on the tip of your hand, the golden eyes are deep, but the corners of your mouth are outlined. I saw that his abdominal wound, stained by the black air, was cracked and could not be healed. This is the wound after the attack of Mo Yebing. What does that mean? Long Qingxia knew exactly what it was. On the other side of the cloud, seeing this, the bottom of my heart suddenly trembled. Damn it! This Ink Night Ice is too strong, also too strange, is not an opponent at all. Cloud Dance Hand's black fire condensed into a black sword Ling, is ready to go to Dragon Qing evil side. But at this time, Long Qingxia's eyes swept towards her. It stopped her. The old man said that her identity must not be known to the people of the Beast Gate. Before, Long Qingxia also tried to stop her from showing her witch identity in front of the young man. Why on earth? She really doesn't know. But she felt that before she became strong, her witch identity would inevitably bring unimaginable consequences to her. But isn't it just watching? Ink Night Ice corner of the eye, swept eye cloud dance. At that moment, Yunwu seemed to be locked by something, and his heart was in a panic. That feeling, just like at the beginning, at the stone gate of the Beast Gate, was staring at by what strange feeling? Are you a witch? A voice without any emotion came out of the pale lips, like asking and affirming. The cloud dances, the brow instantly a wrinkly. Long Qingxia's face was cold and his heart was tight. As soon as he grasped the épée in his hand, the golden pupil flashed coldly. Your opponent is me. See only, the words of Dragon Qingxia fall. Toward Cloud Dance handed one eye. At the next moment, his figure flashed quickly, straight towards the ice in the dark night. Let's go. This is a word that Long Qingxia says in silence when he looks at Yunwu. Go. He wanted her to escape? It's just he's still there. Where else can she escape? Ink Night cold eyes like looking at the attack of the Dragon Qingxia. His dark eyes, like empty general silence, can't see any emotional fluctuations. But the moment of Dragon's evil attack, the shadow under the black robe was empty. In the twinkling of an eye, his white fingers had caught the épée of Long Qingxia. Gently a twist. Bang. The sharp épée broke in that instant. Chua. Ink Night Ice a backhand that cut off the blade, break the air swept toward the Cloud Dance heart. At this moment, Long Qingxia's face suddenly changed and yelled, Get out of the way. Yunwoo's face also changed. She also wanted to get out of the way. But come on. It was extremely fast. No chance for Yunwoo to dodge. Even there's no time to fight. Poof. The sound of the knife into the flesh. At that moment, Long Qingxia's face suddenly changed, and his eyes were almost ferocious. Yunwoo also felt the pain of flesh and blood being penetrated. However, the next second, but let everyone look silly. The blade is in the flesh. But a mass of black fog suddenly burst out of her body at the moment when it penetrated into the heart of Yunwoo. The strange black fog envelopes the whole body of Yunwoo. The broken knife fell and the wound healed quickly. Mo Yebing suddenly changed her face when she saw the black fog. Black, how possible? Mo Yebing looks at the moment when the black fog is shrouded in the clouds. In the depth of the cold eyes, there finally appeared an uneasy disbelief, white hands clenched into fists. No way. It has disappeared for thousands of years. How can it still exist? However, the smell of black fog, but how can not do false? In her body there is girl run away now. At this time, Cloud Dance in the mind sounded black proud, like the voice of forbearance. Hyo is now imprisoned and fixed in the dead door, but he still forces his hand to save her. It is conceivable that it must also bear some pain. But in my mind, the voice of black pride fell, and I didn't wait for Cloud Dance to escape. Mo Yebing's mood seems to be affected by some fluctuation. Her face suddenly twisted and her body moved strangely. In the twinkling of an eye, he came to the dragon in front of the evil. Poof! Did not give any reaction to come over the opportunity. White hands directly through the dragon Qing evil abdomen. This scene, as if at this moment the general freeze frame. Yunwoo felt that all the movements stopped, but Zhenglong opened his eyes wide and looked at the dragon running through his abdomen. My heart is beating hard. The blood seemed to freeze down at that moment. Brain a blank, let her face at that moment, whiten down. Let him go. The voice of Cloud Dance is like the hoarse and extremely cold from the Arctic at this time. Mo Yebing's eyes are gloomy, looking at the clouds. Now the Cloud Dance body that regiment black fog, although already subsided. However, he could still see a strange and crazy greed in his cold eyes. Give that power in you. That power? Black pride? Don't say that Hyo can't hand it over. Even if he can, it's impossible. See, Cloud Dance didn't move. Ignite ice. I ground. A cold anger flits by. In the hand a moment force. Poof! Long Qingxia's face turned white and blood gushed from the corner of his mouth. But at the same time, Long Qingxia took the opportunity to stab the broken ape into the crazy Moi ice. Leave me alone, let's go. The dragon turns to the cloud and roars. Go? In my eyes she can still go there. The voice of Mo Yebing's strange sneer rings out. I saw that the broken sword that pierced into the ice body of Mo Yi melted under the black air. Yes. It's melting. And at that moment, Ignite Ice hand to draw back, blood spatter out. Turn a hand to throw out Dragon Qing evil. Turn abruptly. Black robe figure strange move, straight toward Cloud Dance flash past. Since you don't consciously hand it in, I'll do it for you. When you see the moment when the dragon's evil body is thrown out, Yunwoo felt that the string in her heart was broken in an instant. That pair of purple pupil Mao. In that instant extremely angry be congested, red silk diffuse. The cold anger in my heart was magnified countless times at that time. The speed of ice in the ink night is strange. See at that moment his white palm, instant into a gloomy white bone, straight attack cloud heart position. Click. The sound of a broken bone sounded. Ink night ice a lung, immediately after, that greedy Mao bottom deep place, suddenly flashed a color of amazement. I can only see. Cloud Dance is like that, do not dodge, unarmed out, just like that in midair intercepted his hand into bones. Just now there was a crack when the bone was broken. It's not the bone of Ice's hand, but the Cloud Dance. At this time, she clenched the hand of Mo Yebing's white bone hand. Because of the momentum, her wrist was twisted by fracture. However, she didn't seem to feel any pain at all. She held it tightly. You hurt he. Voice very cold, very angry, word by word spit out. Zitong is covered with red silk. He stares at the ink ice in front of him coldly. He holds the white bone palm and keeps tightening it. Ka. This time, it's the sound of clear bones being crushed. Mo Yebing's face changed at that moment. When the lower body moves, the white bone hand pulls back. I saw that his hand was crushed and cracked by her bare hand, but it wasn't this that changed his face. It's the breath in her at this time. Which saint? I don't think so. But it's definitely the smell of the witch people. It can't be wrong. You are one of the witches. Under the eyes of Mo Yebing in consternation, her face was suddenly cold. Cloud Dance at this time, but no mind to pay attention to his face, also no mood to pay attention to his words. She just felt that her heart was burning with anger. You hurt him. This sound is as cold as an Arctic glacier. Mo Yebing frowns and looks at the clouds in front of him. The black air gradually covers his whole body. You think you can hurt me? Cloud Dance turns a deaf ear, red silk purple pupil coldly stares at him. More fury repeats. You hurt him. Ink Night Ice finally cold face black air attack die. I hurt him again. How kill him is as easy as a paw. And his words, it seems that the instant completely angry Cloud Dance. How dare you hurt him? A roar like a roar from the bottom of my throat. A stream of purple air swept over her red eyes, and her anger seemed to rise in that moment. See, at that moment, the originally sunny and windy weather suddenly changed. The wind began to howl, the sky clouds surge. Fire, the temperature soared instantaneously, red light gradually shrouded the whole sky. The stream is stagnant. All around the trees and plants were suddenly rocking. The ground shakes. What's going on? What's going on? Is the world changing color? At this moment, the Longjing Bridge and others on the ground who dodged farther away. Looking at this sudden scene, the bottom of my heart suddenly trembled. He looked at the cloud dancing in the air, and the national teacher with astonishment. Mo Yebing didn't seem to think of this sudden situation. Until 3 lights flash out of the void. In the light of the fire, it was a small figure that was neither human nor animal. A pair of red wings spread out like a flame, and the fierce tusks with canthus penetrated into it abnormally. In the red light, there was a huge red flower, its bud was open, and its tusks were grinding with a clatter. In the green light, it is a rabbit, not a rabbit. However, in its green eyes, it is as strange as the sword. What's this? Mo Yebing suddenly shrinks his pupils when he sees the flash of the 3 lights. You are the summoner? It's still the 3rd department. There was an extremely distorted tone in his voice, but it was not difficult to recognize the murderous change in his tone. This is the same situation as last time. When the boy learned that she was a witch and a summoner, he had the same reaction. For her, the killing was instantaneous. However, Yunwu was at this moment. As soon as he turned over his hand, Guwu Dageo was released in an instant. While Lei Element was released in an instant, it was injected into Guwu Dageo. Zizi. Violent current, strong breath of power. Mo Yebing's face sank again. Ray Element. Your 4 systems in one. In his voice, the murderer suddenly began to fluctuate. Well, you can't keep it. The Ink Night is cold and silent, and a layer of black air rises from the bottom of his eyes. As soon as he turns his hand, a white bone suddenly condenses out of his palm. Ouch! At the moment when the white bone sword came out, the roaring sound of the sword in the void was as strange as a fierce ghost roaring. You are the first time that I have asked for my ghost bone sword in decades. Wait a minute. After I drain your strength, I will let you die a little more happily. The gloomy words have not yet fallen, but the figure of black robe has flashed away. This time he was not as careless as before, but a hand, with extremely fast speed, straight attack Cloud Dance fatal point and go. Cloud Dance that pair of red silk purple pupil, extremely cold. Also at that moment, the wind elements in the instantaneous package, a retreat at the foot, the hands of the ancient sword across the air split. Zizi Huhu. At that moment, the fierce sword chi was raised. Bang. Under the confrontation of 2 extremely strong breath, the power afterwave burst out in an instant and hit the ground directly. Bang bang. The sound of bombing, on the ground, roared. Fortunately, there were more than a dozen students in Longjingqiu before. Seeing that the situation was not right, they were far more in the morning. Otherwise, under the after effect of the power, There will be no bones left. However, it's both joy and surprise to see such a battle with one's own eyes at such a close distance. It's obviously not what they can see. At that time, will you be killed? But can't help but want to peep, so a bit more than to avoid. But the battle is becoming more and more intense, and the strength is stronger and stronger, which makes everyone pale by the aftershock of strength in midair. Snow White. The cloud dances and cheers. Under the green light, by Schwer's body twisted and soared, and the sharp light of the green beast flashed. The hurricane instantly involved the cloud dance. Within the hurricane, space is distorted. Mo Yebing attacks strangely, but the sword attack fails. The wind of Hurricane Cliff? See that hurricane, the Ink Knight Ice I bottom cold am I. It turned out that she was the one who broke into the dungeon that day and met the old man, and at this time, Xiaoqiu and Hongling are not willing to be outdone. The same fire system, instantaneous up and down, double into one. Take advantage of the wind and help the fire. The hurricane surged wildly and attacked the fire. It was like the fire dragon, whistling and rolling up. It hit the ice in the dark night. Mo Yebing's face changed at that moment. Eyes startled flash of the moment. Quickly aroused the body black gas to protect the body. The hand ghost bone soared in the air to split to resist. But, in front of the raging hurricane, his attack has not yet fallen, and his figure is directly engulfed by the hurricane of the raging fire dragon. At that moment, the world was quiet. As if I only saw the red dragon rolling up in the air. Roar! The roar broke through the air. Under that hide to don't know that corner, Longjing Bridge and other 10 students. Looking at this scene, the bottom of my heart extremely trembled. I almost didn't drop my eyes on the ground. Has it been wiped out? That's the most mysterious national teacher of Longshu Kingdom, who was destroyed by a young girl. Unbelievable horror surged up in the hearts of more than a dozen people. But what's more frightening to them is that summoner. That girl is a summoner. For hundreds of years, it has almost become a legendary summoner. Now it appears in front of them. And not long ago they stopped chatting up. What's the mood? I'm afraid they can't even say it now. I just feel that my heart is shaking and my legs are soft. But still can't help, looking up silly straight eyes like staring at the mid-air, standing in the slender figure of the dragon hurricane. In the depths of his eyes, he felt the burning urgency. Summoner. Is this the power of the summoner? No wonder people in the whole mainland of China dream so much about the professional ability of the summoner. That strength is really terrible and amazing. But it didn't last long. Hurricane Fire Dragon. Suddenly came a tearing sound. The cloud dance in the fire dragon. The body suddenly a vibration. The next second, the face Schwa ran a white. Bang! A huge explosion, in the fire dragon hurricane, burst out in mid-air. The sparks were all over the place. A figure in that burst under the waves, a moment quite embarrassed, instant Ling fly out. Poof! A mouthful of black blood spewed out, which still left the flame of hurricane. Strange instant subsided. At this time, the black robe on the ice of the Ink Knight was a little burnt out. Originally that cold and indifferent posture, stained with a trace of embarrassment. However, his black eyes, but turned into a very black horror. As strange as the black hole, people feel that the sweat is up. For the first time in decades, someone can force his Numenon out, which makes him so embarrassed. For the first time he was forced to use his own blood to put out the fire. I feel the burning pain on my body. Ink Knight Ice, that pair of dark eyes, such as the hell to the devil. Lift Eyes dead stare at that explosion. Also was shocked out of a good distance of cloud dance. This girl's fire element, with pure fire, can not only hurt his body but also his origin. Before, it was the black fog ability. Now there is such a strange flame. How much power is there in her body? If he can suck all those forces in her body, then think of here, that pair of black eyes deep, gradually rise a little greedy excitement. Cloud dance in the power was split burst open moment. The body breath was scattered, a sweet throat, a bloody rush to the throat. Can cloud dance in steady body of that moment, but again a bite of teeth, abruptly will blood to swallow back. Wipe the blood from the corners of your mouth. Lift up that pair of red silk diffuse purple pupil, Squint up Mao Sun to greet to see up Ink Night Ice that pair of dark eyes. From it, she saw his greedy excitement. Bai Shuer seems to have been impacted, and her white hair is stained with a trace of blood. However, its green sharp eyes are still proud and cold. Xiaoxiaika and Hongling were washed away at the moment of explosion. Because Hongling couldn't fly, she fell into the forest below. The little stink spread its red wings and grounded around the clouds. That pair of young big sprout eyes. At this time is also gloomy cold kill. Learn to cloud dance. Raise the claw to wipe off the blood mark of the corner of the mouth. Fierce incomparable stare at that Ink Night Ice. Are you all right? Yunwu didn't go to see them, but could feel the fluctuation of their physical condition, and asked in a low voice. Bai Shuer said softly, "It's okay." Little Smelly also shook his head. "I'm okay, but I can beat bad people." As for Hongling, Yunwu feels that it's okay. And he just that jilt, directly throw Dragon Qing evil don't know where. In spite of her great anger. But she was also relieved. At least, the man was far away from the national teacher. As long as he left, he would have enough time to heal. She didn't know what was going on between that dragon and the national master. However, she clearly felt that Long Qingxia's fear of the national master was the same as that trace of extremely patient hatred that even she could not understand. Good. Wait a minute, be careful. Cloud Dance finished saying, in the hand Guwu big knife a turn. Thunder element infuses again. Strong Zizi sword roar, once again in the air from the violent turbulence. She is not his opponent, which she knows very well in her heart. However, with his strength, she could not escape. In that case we have to fight. Ink Night Ice see Cloud Dance again posture. That white pale face strange raised a smile arc. He's waiting for her to deliver it. Once the hand is turned over, the ghost bone sword in the hand will be put away directly. On the contrary, the hands will become a pair of white bone hands. However, if you look carefully you will find that on the white hands, there were rows of small, almost transparent sharp tusks. Once into the meat, will scrape off a small flesh, giant drill pain. However, what ordinary people don't know is that the real terror of the bony hand is not those. It is. Once inserted into the body by the bony hand, all abilities in the body will be sucked by the tiny tusks. Thus, it enters into his body and is absorbed by him. Now, Cloud Dance Isa Lin, holding a big knife, has set off that violent strong breath, ferocious volley towards him. Bai Shuer's whole body wind element congeals, a wind blade, hits at the same time. Small stink wings flame up. The whole body is like the fireball, with the clouds to attack quickly. But I don't know, that looking at the cloud dancing Ink Night Ice, that pair of dark eyes bottom is more excited. The black air immediately envelopes the whole body, and the white bone hands are rising. Almost also in an instant, straight away. He can't wait see him face to face, Cloud Dance purple pupil cold light together. Wind element wrapped body, dead fire instantaneous lead out, quietly straight into the angry Guwu sword. 2 fires and 1 element. Brush. When the sword falls, the cold light flickers. Almost in the right moment. Flash in mid-air speed, in the eyes of ordinary people. It is just a passing light, simply cannot see the battle scene. Green light, red light and black light collide with each other fiercely, bringing waves of ripples every time too strong, too strong. More than a dozen people at the Longjing Bridge in the lower corner looked at the twinkling lights in the air. When they were surprised, they cried again and again. Just not a moment. Click. Bang. The sound of a brittle fracture sounded, and the 2 shadows were directly hit by the black light. Stop the speed. Now I can see the situation in mid-air. Yunwu's face turned white, and his whole body was covered with the black air. And the wrists were directly grabbed by the white hands. The bones were like flesh and blood. And a strange black light seemed to be pumping her internal strength. When the power into the body, Ink Night Ice all over a shock. I suddenly brush up a wave of ecstasy. Are you the witch daughter who has awakened twice? The pure power in the body makes Mo Yebing crazy. But after a while he opened his eyes in amazement again. You actually have 7 elements in your body. Are you still 7 systems of the same body? At first he was surprised when he thought that she was the same body, but did not think that she was a 7 department. Instant, ink night ice that looking at the eyes of the clouds, is that hot excitement. It's like seeing a gourmet food. Just want to swallow her immediately and absorb all her abilities into your body. The power absorbed by the hand is speeding up. Under the black atmosphere, Yunwu seemed to be imprisoned and could not move. But I can clearly feel the power of being sucked away from my wrist, and the pain of blood drawing. He's sucking the power out of her. Yunwu's face turned white, and he wanted to take back his hand. But at this time, she was not only completely unable to move, as he absorbed the power, her whole body began to become weak. Damn it. Give me, quick, give me all your strength. It's so special. That power is so special with the absorption of more and more. Moibing has been completely excited. Black gas in the eyes are unconsciously receding, in exchange for the extremely excited greed. Suddenly, Shwa. In the void, a twist and a violent strong breath suddenly appear, which directly attack the white bone hands of Mo Yebing. Ink night ice this excited facial expression, suddenly a sink. A pull cloud dance, body shape strange flash. Let her go. A roar from the angry sky came from a distance. In the twinkling of an eye, you can see the figure covered with blood, coming rapidly. Dragon's evil? The cloud dances under the black air. When I see the figure, my heart trembles. It's him. That's the man. But what did he come back to do? I know I'm not the national teacher's opponent. What can I do when I come back? However, there is no denying that. When you see the dragon's evil, the cloud dances in your heart. Here he comes. Here comes, however, when Mo Yebing saw that what appeared was dragon's evil, a sneer suddenly appeared on her face. I'm not dead yet. It's just right to come back so that I won't be looking for it again. Then I'll give you all my strength and let you die faster. He has silver hair, golden eyes, and a pale face. At this time, the corners of his mouth outlined slightly. Want me to be strong? Yes, come and get it yourself. Ink night ice smell speech, but seem to hear what joke. Sooner or later, I'll take the power from you, but it's stupid to use this trick to save her. Smell speech. The dragon inclines evil but don't anger but smile. Is it? If you don't come, I'll send it to you myself. As soon as the dragon had finished, the golden pupil flashed, and his body immediately went away. Ink night ice see this, black eyes haze a flash, instantaneous free a hand, want to fight back quickly. But I didn't expect that when I got close. Long Qingxie really sent his wrist directly to his white bones. Click. White bone into the flesh, a sharp pain. But the dragon did not resist any evil. Let the black chi cover him. Let the white bone quickly absorb the power in his body. Mo Yebing is suspicious of this sudden situation. But see, he didn't have any resistance. Absorb very smoothly. Soon also put down heart. Eyes sneer heartily absorb. But cloud dance on the other side. Looking at this scene, the corner of his eyes suddenly turned red and wanted to roar at him. He's crazy. Knowing that the enemy did not come back, he even sent himself to the door. Is he stupid or not? If you want to yell at him, go. But under the black fog, the cloud dance can't make any sound. I can only blush and stare at him. Long Qingxie gave her a look. It's like saying to her, silly woman, it's okay. I'm here. Let cloud dance heart suddenly a draw, red silk diffuse purple pupil, more and more red. Long Qingxie just looked at her like that. There was a touch of heartache in her golden pupil, but the corner of her mouth outlined the radiance of the evil spirit, as usual. However, the body, but aroused their own Yuan Li, straight toward the ink night ice absorption of the arm sent. Yes. He sent it instead of accepting it. At this time, the two sides at the same time greedily absorbed the power. Ink night ice, suddenly the body a shock, seems to finally detect a trace of anomaly. Ben's pale face, at this moment. A flush of red rushed to his face, and instantly his face became very ruddy. But in his dark eyes, there was an instant shock. Almost at the same time, the white bone hand that buckles cloud dance and dragon to pour evil, a quick loosen, want a hand to draw back. But at that time, a big backhand caught his white hand. Don't you want my strength? I took it back just after I asked for it. Isn't that too polite to me? Lo San's voice died with a bloody cold. Long Qingxie pressed his hand tightly with his backhand, and quickly sent his own Yuan Li into the body of Mo Yebing along with the white bone hand which was trapped in his flesh and blood. Mo Yebing's face at this time has finally changed from ruddy to purplish red. The horror in his eyes turned into a great anger. Your strength is in conflict with each other. You are evil. Mo Yebing's voice was almost roaring from the bottom of his throat, extremely angry and sharp. And at that moment, Ink Night Ice almost no hesitation, powerful breath quickly toward the dragon. Along with the trend, the dragon takes a leap back, turn around and go straight for the falling cloud dance. At the moment when the cloud fell into the air, he held her tightly in his arms. You little thing, I told you to go, but you have to be brave. Now you know the pain. The deep voice of Dragon Qing Xie gently brushed the cloud dancing ear. But the sound, but instantaneous warm cloud heart. Pain. Yes, it hurts. But it's not the physical pain, it's the heartache. What has this man done for her? How much for her? Mingming, the wound on his body has not healed well, but he ran to save him. How stupid is he? No matter how painful it is, it's not as stupid as you are. Cloud Dance said almost subconsciously, hands on him. And in the moment of holding him, he mobilized the first door of Chaos Hall again, trying to lead out the aura of heaven and earth in the door to heal him. But the man's voice came suddenly. Little thing, don't use your ability. He already knows too many secrets about you. Don't reveal your last card too. The cloud dances and hears the speech. Is he aware of the existence of Chaos Temple in her early? However, at this time Yunwu only worried about his body. But your injury. You just heard that I was born with evil body and I can't die. At that moment, the dragon fell on the ground holding the cloud. As soon as the cloud dance landed, in the distance you can see Hongling, with white snow and little stink rolling on its branches running fast. Master, both of them have stopped eating. Hongling quickly sends Bai Shuer and Xiaoqiu to Yunwu. See, white snow sun with small stink, the corner of the mouth oozes blood, as if to be about to faint into a coma. How could that be? Yunwu's face changed slightly, and he wanted to raise his hand weakly, but he was stopped by the dragon. They are injured and you have absorbed too much elemental energy in your body to provide elements for them for the time being, so take them back to the contract and let them sleep for a while. Deep sleep? Cloud Dance looked at that snow-white sun with small stink, the heart slightly pulled tight for a while. But in the end, it didn't say anything. One hand, put them all in their own space. Lift Mao, cold of sea to half sky, because inside the body two strength mutually blunt, but strongly want to suppress of Ink Night Ice. In the bottom of my heart, an endless anger rises. One day, I'll let you repay today's revenge 100 times. The voice is not big or small, but she used up all her strength, such as breaking the air to transmit sound, resounding through the whole sky immediately. See Longqing evil embrace ways to embrace her. Taking advantage of that, Ink Night Ice is still suppressing the gap of body strength. Body shape a flash, quickly leave. Because Hongling didn't make a contract with Yunwu. She was washed down to the ground first, and the impact didn't have much impact. So it's behind, and it's fast following. Mo Yebing looks at the cloud dance that leaves with the dragon to pour evil. The whole face all because of anger and twisted. However, the two forces in the body repel each other, almost enough to split him. I want to get it back. For the time being, I can't be distracted at all. He just watched them slip away under his eyes. Damn. In addition to Dragon and Cloud Dance, that has been hiding to the old far more than 10 students of Longjing Bridge. See this situation, if you are still waiting to see the follow-up situation. It is really a fool. Long ago, when Yunwu and Longqing left, they smeared oil on the soles of their feet one by one. They also took the opportunity to escape. Any adventure to Warcraft Forest is a floating cloud. To see such an extraordinary and soul-stirring fight, and to hear the information, I'm afraid, it's enough to make their legs soft for half a month, and make their hearts tremble for 10 or 8 days. This is the national teacher of Longshu. No wonder it's so mysterious to hide under the black robe. Too scary. That's not a normal person at all. They saw it and heard it. In the future, will they be killed? More than a dozen people almost non-stop just want to hurry back to the college. At least, in the college there are many tutors and many students. Even if you want to kill people, you should not recognize them. Where is Nanshan? It's the ground wire from the border of Longziguo. The boundary crossing line of the three kingdoms is divided into 3 strongholds, which are the locations of the 3 representative colleges of the 3 kingdoms. If it's close to the Longkong Warrior Academy of Longshu Kingdom, it's not too far from the Shimwang Warrior Academy of Zhou Dynasty. Therefore, after the dragon leaves that area with Cloud Dance, even without stopping, he went straight to the ground line of the Zhou Dynasty. Along the way, there was no royal air flight, because in the southern Warcraft Forest Range, there are too many island lines in 10,000 animals' doors. But he had injuries. Yunwu stopped many times to let him see his wound. However, he seemed to turn a deaf ear and went all the way. Till dusk. Through the woods, we finally came to a southern border city of the Zhou Dynasty, Shenzhen. However, at this time, Long Qingxia did not take the Cloud Dance into the city. But outside the city, a signal was sent out. After a while, I saw a man dressed as a boy driving a carriage from the city. Soon, it stopped in front of them. The boy took a black cape, jumped down from the car and quickly came over. He skillfully handed it to Long Qingxia. Master. A respectful and steady voice. As soon as you listen to that voice, you know it's definitely a practitioner. After Long Qingxia took over, he put the cloak on Yunwu. Lift Mao to see an eye that man, 07? Back to the master, 07 hasn't come back yet, but he has sent back the news. The man replied respectfully. As for what news, it seems that because of the Cloud Dance in, and did not say. Yunwu didn't say anything about it. Well, go back and live first. Long Qingxia nods. Then he turned to Yunwu. Little thing, let's go into the city and have a rest. Later, I'll take you to the junction, the town of Shimwang Samurai Academy, to join the waste. Well, Yunwu didn't say much. After getting into the carriage, the man turned the carriage and immediately put it into the city. It took a long time for the carriage to stop. It was a large courtyard, living in a prosperous part of the city, but it didn't look luxurious. It's a big yard, but after entering it, I found that I didn't see half a figure. I don't know. I thought I went into an empty courtyard. The man who had just led the carriage roared as they got out of the carriage, and went in ahead. Little thing, there are not many servants here. If you need anything, just let out. Dragon Qingxia takes Cloud Dance to a courtyard and says. The cloud danced around her eyes. She can't feel it. There seems to be no one here, but there are many secret sentries around. But those are not important. The important thing is that this man, from the beginning, did not let her see his wound. Even she was not allowed to feel his pulse. It should be safe here now. Give me your hand, and let me have a look. Cloud Dance says, also directive spread out palm toward him. Long Qingxia's face was pale and bloodless from the beginning. However, in front of her, he was the same from head to tail. Even did not see him because of the abdominal wound and frown. I'm all right. The wound healed a little fast. I've bandaged it. I'll let you see it after I clean the wound. And then, just now the man came down another path. After Chaoyan Dance nodded politely, he bowed respectfully to the dragon and said in a low voice, Master, the bath is ready. You can take a bath. When the dragon hears the evil words, the evil spirit of his mouth is aroused. Suddenly, he turned his head vaguely and looked at Yunwu with deep eyes. Since the little thing is so worried about being a husband, why don't you go with me? The voice behind it is so long that it makes people feel some evil ambiguity. Yunwu's eyes were fixed on him. Half-ring pour also direct. Good. What? Long Qingxia seems to be in a daze. There are so many seconds of no response. Come on. Don't you want a bath? I'm just dirty too. I'll wash it together by the way. Cloud Dance, a face earnest of say, along with the trend of, seemed to stretch out a hand to grasp his hand. But don't know her words, let some man and silly lung a second. But immediately, Dragon Qing evil feet a move, quietly avoided her hand. There was a smile in my eyes. Sometimes, he really doesn't know whether to worry or to be happy about this woman's intelligence. This little woman was so dull before. Now he was so clever that he couldn't laugh or cry. Well, you silly woman, you're going to bathe with me before you get married. You're not at a loss. Besides, your body is still very empty. I can't bear to part with you. Dragon Qing evil at this time, while saying 100-side compromise but put his hand in front of Cloud Dance. Yunwu reaches for his pulse. It's stable without waves. From the pulse condition, it doesn't look like the injured pulse condition at all. What's going on? Cloud Dance frowns. Always feel we're not quite right. But at this time, Long Qingxia had withdrawn his hand and rubbed her forehead like a pet. Now the pulse of your hand has been detected. If you are really worried, you can follow me. However, I told you that if you follow me, I can't guarantee that I can hold you back. With that, Long Qingxia smiles and turns around and walks towards the path. And just that man, respectfully followed in the past. The Cloud Dance left behind, but I don't know whether to follow the past or however, Cloud Dance in that eyes, but flashed a helpless gloomy. What is hidden in this man? Can't even she know? As soon as he left the line of sight of Cloud Dance, the evil smile on Long Qingxia's face disappeared. That pale handsome face, finally uncontrollable appeared as an eggshell crack. 09. Go down and protect her for me. Report immediately if you have any information. Long Qingxia's voice was hoarse at this time. 09 worried looking at that body gradually spread out a light black air of Dragon Qing evil, Frownway. Master your body. It's okay. Go back. The dragon's evil voice fell, and he quickly walked towards the hut at the end of the path. Bang. The moment you closed the door, Long Qingxia's body, as if to the limit, faltered and fell to his knees. Then, a strange bone click suddenly sounded in the closed house. Pain hum, bear the dull ring. Long Qingxia is biting his teeth. It seems that he can resist it. But also at this time, he staggers to the inner room and pours into the bloody pool. Gulu gulu dash in the blood pool. It began to boil like high temperature, and countless hot bubbles emerged from the blood pool. And the figure in the blood pool was soaked all over. Click dash in the blood pool. The sound of bone click. If anyone saw the scene in the blood pool at this time, his face would be shocked. See only immerse the man in blood pool. The skin of whole body is cracked commonly. Crack is full of cloth, blood silk is clear visible. And the body under the clothes, every root bone of the whole body seems to be in the state of being disassembled, reconstituted, mutated and twisted. This process, and its pain. However, for Long Qingxia, this is the necessary process of his rebirth after every serious injury. Yes, he was born an evil body, an existence that is supposed to be unknown. Not only is cultivation abnormal, but even the most normal death is totally different from ordinary people. His body has the ability to heal, and if he is injured too much and does not heal in time, he will die. It's just that his death is weird. No matter what kind of death, it's a kind of death. He lost his breath, his pulse, even his heart, but still can go. Even as long as he is willing to pretend, he can be like a normal person. Until reaching a certain peak, his whole body will begin to appear the phenomenon of skin rupture and bone reorganization. However, if he still can't die, it will only make him happy. Blood is the only medicine that can cure him. Besides, it needs advanced blood. Whether it's human or Warcraft, this is him. The only side she didn't want to see. He had seen it with his own eyes, and he could hardly accept it. It's horrible. It's disgusting. How can the woman see him like this? In the blood pool, the man's skeleton is still rattling. Broken skin, like in the automatic absorption of the blood, and little by little began to get moisture. Silver hair in the blood pool become more and more shiny. Half a day later, the clattering of the bones finally stopped, and the blood pool dried up for more than half. The man in the blood pool finally got up from the blood pool, and gasped for breath. The cracks on the skin have disappeared. The upper and lower bones of the whole body are also completely compound. Long Qingxia touched the blood on his face and took a deep breath, which seemed to slow down. At this time, he just lowered his head and reached out to untie the abdomen that he had tied with the cloth before. The abdomen was penetrated directly, leaving a hole that had not yet healed. And then, the man seems to have no idea of everything in this room just now. but they were all given eyes by the eyes on the roof. Is this the secret he has been hiding? That's what he said. Can't you die? On the roof, he looked at the unhealed hole in his abdomen, and the man who finally breathed Yunwoo's face was white, his hands were clenched, and his nails fell into the palm of his hand. I just feel that my heart is pained. Is he afraid that she will see him like this? Or is she afraid to know that he can walk like a normal person even though he has stopped breathing and heartbeat? You think that scares her? Did he forget that not long ago she was still a walking corpse? Yunwoo never knew that he would be so angry. I almost wanted to jump off the roof and slap the man. However, I never knew that I would feel so sad for a man. This stupid man. Did he really think that she would be unaware of him holding her all the way? I really think that if I don't let her see the pulse of the wound, I'll be so dull that I can't feel it. What's wrong? Or do you think that steady pulse can fool her? Looking at the man in the blood pool below, Yunwoo felt angry and distressed. However, it is also because of men. On the contrary, it made her feel heartfelt but helpless, and there was an inexplicable anger. And her anger, not from him, but from herself. Because of all this, she is too weak now. If she can have enough strong ability, she will not let him know that he is not the enemy, but still fight, knowing that he is afraid of the national teacher, but still let him expose his identity. She is not stupid. Along the way, she gradually understood what he was hiding. It's just that he didn't seem to be ready to confess to her. After all, he didn't completely open his heart to her, and didn't intend to let her know his side. But since he didn't want her to know, then she'll take it as if she didn't know. But there was one thing she had to do. That is, she wants to regain her ability. She wants to be strong. Strong enough one day. She will not only let those who owe her return 100-fold, and let everyone remember. She is the diseased trash in everyone's eyes. Cloud dance. And this man is the man she dances with. At that time, she wanted everyone to know that she was the only woman who matched him enough to fight side by side. The man in the blood pool did not know that the figure on the roof had appeared. This time it's too much. Even his most basic acuity seems to have weakened. However, this is his territory, perhaps not much. So, I don't know. When Yunwoo quietly left, he left the mansion with the body of an assassin from the secret eyes around. It took an hour for the hole in the abdomen to heal and scar. It was also at this time that the blood in the blood pool had almost been absorbed. Long Qingxie stands up, ready to clear it with clear water. Wait and have a look at that little thing. But at this time, there was a knock at the door. In general, in this case, the people under his hand are clear and will never disturb. This time Dragon Qingxie grabbed the cape on one side, put it on his body, and then said coldly, "What's the matter?" Outside the door 0 and 9 came anxiously. "Master, the girl you brought back was found missing when you delivered the meal." "Gone." Long Qingxie's face sank in an instant, but he didn't go to put on a piece of clothes, and his figure was already in a flash. As soon as the door opened, dressed in a black cloak, but with the smell of blood, Dragon Qingxie has stood in front of the 09. "It's not for you to guard her. How could anyone disappear?" The sound was extremely cold. 09 bowed his head and said, "My subordinates have been guarding the door, but it's incompetence. Please punish me." However, at this time 09 seems to think of something, immediately put a piece of paper in hand to the front. "Master, this may be a note left by the girl." Long Qingxie's face was full of anger and he reached for it. However, when I saw the content above, I was stunned. It says, "Don't worry. I have something to do. Do what you want. Also, since the identity has been found by the national teacher, don't use it again. Take care. In the next meeting, I hope you can really become my husband. And then, I will break the sky for you." Identity? Did she find out? However, let him really Zhonglong. It is the sentence behind. To be her husband? To break the sky for him? That little thing. She Dragon Qing evil heart palpitation clenched the note in the hand, but the bottom of the eyes, but also aroused a surge. 10 years. I've endured it for 10 years. He really has something to do. However, at that time, it was time for him to support her. Deep in the night, after leaving from Shenzhen, Yunwoo has changed into a black nightwear, dressed as an assassin, on a high-class horse, straight to the South Warcraft forest. At this time, the force of elements in the body is absorbed by most of the cloud dance. Although there was the aura of heaven and earth in the Chaos Hall, she recovered her physical strength in a very short time. However, the power absorbed seems to have become a vacancy. It's obviously a lot weaker. But before, Yunwoo picked many fruits of different colors from the orchard in the northern Warcraft forest. Xianyuan fruit. During the journey, Yunwoo ate 7 fruits of 7 elements. The power of elements in the body has been greatly enhanced. And this is enough for her to provide Bai Shuer and Xiao Stink in the contract ring, so that they can gradually recover. This time, go to the southern forest. Yunwoo didn't really go to the national teacher of Longshu Kingdom to get her ability back. He absorbed it and didn't plan to get it back. I'm not stupid enough to send myself to the door again. This time, she's going to gamble. Bet her on the hole. And let her bet, is that day at the edge of the forest, the young guard of the bamboo forest. Though she didn't know what was in that place. However, to set up a maze, there are so many Warcraft guardians, even the son of the national master. It must be something not simple. Otherwise, it would not have been so laborious. This time she gambled this time. Now that the national teacher has absorbed her strength, she will take back some things as debt. The horse raced for about 2 hours and finally entered the southern forest. After dismounting, Cloud Dance also took advantage of the night. Straight toward the memory, the direction of the bamboo forest quickly away. Although the power of elements in her body is less, it doesn't affect her speed and figure at all. Because she was a killer. In the eyes of this stranger, he is a top assassin. Lurking at night is definitely the best battlefield for assassins. By memory, about another hour or so, I finally came to the position of the bamboo forest that day. At this point, it's just the second half of the night. Warcraft in the forest is also a time to sleep. However, Yunwoo didn't rush in, but lurked outside the bamboo forest for a long time. We'll see through the situation. The black figure, just like the civet landing, completely converged its own breath and went towards the bamboo forest. I had the last experience. This time, the cloud dance operation, just light feet on the ground. The flash of the figure, even a trace of bamboo leaves have not touched. When the cloud dance entered, there was still no fluctuation in the bamboo forest around. Cloud dance also determines what you want in your heart. It seems that this bamboo forest is the key to touch this area array. I'm afraid that the purpose of bamboo forest's external connection is to introduce some low-level Warcraft to provide food for the Warcraft groups under the ground. Once Warcraft enters this area, the array will be activated again, whether it is in or out. It's a brilliant array. However, the cloud dance at this time is not to see the structure of this array. But after entering the bamboo forest, Yunwoo is moving towards the cave on the cliff sensitively. That day, although they were chased by the Warcraft, however, she noticed that there were spiders and scorpions on the ground of the whole area, but the cave was excluded. At that time, in addition to the flame fruit, the most important plant was the orchid grass that needed the aura of heaven and earth to grow. Since the orchid grass can survive in the cave, it is said that there is aura in the cave. Enter the cave. It was still dark all around, almost invisible. However, Yunwoo did not intend to light up with fire. Now that you are here, you must be very careful. Cloud Dance tuned purple pupil flash, sweeping the dark cave, only to see, under the purple pupil, the dark cave gradually began to be visible. But the weird thing is, in her purple pupil sweep, in addition to the cave Consichu, also saw a white transparent fog-like things, floating in the air, filled with the whole cave. What's that? Is it the spirit of heaven and earth? Cloud Dance can't help but walk towards the deep part of the cave, where the white fog is dense. But at this time, drop! The sound of some kind of water drops suddenly, and clearly rings out in Yunwoo's mind. The next second, Cloud Dance in the heart, but flashed a bit surprised. Because her purple pupil under the night, even clearly see that originally floating in the air around the transparent white fog. As soon as she walked in, she gradually moved closer to her. Then the white fog began to penetrate her skin. At first, the speed was still very slow, but after a while, it became faster and faster. Just now, the sound of water drops came from the first door of the chaos hall of her consciousness. See? The space inside the living door. Let's take a look. Only then discovered that at this time that first floor, in the life gate originally the open space, already had the earth-shaking existence. The green grass on the ground is full of vitality, and the seven-source fairy tree is full of vitality. It's in the middle. It's very tall. However, to Yunwu's surprise, not far from the tree is a small pool. In the pool, the orchid grass, with 1 to 10 seedlings from the pure pool emerald green. Water drops are the drops falling over the space. It was like rain dripping on the grass pool, have added a strange vitality. It was the white fog that entered her body and was absorbed by Chaos Hall. The white fog in the cave is really the aura of heaven and earth. Cloud Dance purple pupil looking at this time that has been to her body infiltration of white fog. Fundus flashed a touch of surprise. However, surprise is surprise, but she did not forget the purpose of this visit. Into the deep cave. The place where the white fog gathered was just the location of a rock. It didn't look any different. But when Yunwu just touched it, click, a sound of some mechanism being touched. After a while, I heard the sound of the chain being pulled and the heavy stone door being pushed open slowly. See the corner. A stone door moved. A person can enter the entrance. Cloudbrow a pick. It seems that the last time they entered this cave, attention is really attracted by the flame fruit and the orchid grass, and ignores how a mechanism exists. However, it can only be said that the boy's intelligence know how to set such an attractive cover up in the cave. It's unexpected that there is such a mechanism in this clear cave. Enter through the entrance to the cave. As soon as I went in, Fengxi felt a cool breath and came directly to my face. I can see it under the purple pupil. I saw that the entrance channel is a direct white mist, abundant some frightening. And white fog, when it comes into contact with her skin, it's like water meets a sponge and penetrates into her skin rapidly. Feeling, like in the infiltration of the white fog, little by little cleaning the body of impurities in general. The whole body is cool and comfortable. However, the cloud dance is unknown. Before being absorbed by the chaos temple, it was through her body. This is not only washing her whole body, but also moistening her. Especially now, she has been sucked away most of the elemental energy in her body. Less impurities from outside. In such a pure heaven and earth aura wash, it is not only wash, but also in a little bit of pure her blood, changing her constitution. Originally, the third time of witchcraft awakening needs purification in blood to however, at this time, it has changed unconsciously. Of course, for this unknown cloud dance, where do you know that such a chaotic hall absorbs the aura of heaven and earth, but let her take such a great advantage? I don't know, that ink night ice sucked away her ability, but let her at this moment, blood change faster. Yunwu thought that all the white fog in the air was absorbed by the chaos hall. Without knowing it, Yunwu feels cool and clear. It's very comfortable. But I didn't care much. Along the passage, carefully walked forward. However, Yunwu soon found out that this passage leads to the underground. The deeper you go, the quieter you are, as if you are in another underground world. Dada. Her gently falling steps echoed in the open and silent passage. At this time, Cloud Dance in the hands of the ancient sword holding. Step by step, go deep. Because she saw the white fog in the air, it seemed to become thick, and the speed of penetration into her skin became a little slow because it was too thick. In that case, the front should be the source. Rustle. The sound of friction like quicksand. It's a familiar voice that night. Cloud Dance in the near step, suddenly slow down. In the purple eyes, the cold kill passes by, holding the big knife tightly in the hand. Rustle. Just around the corner of the passageway, there is a spacious space about 10 square meters wide. At this time it happened to be a toad full of pimples. It was from his mouth that the rustle came. It's a 6th order warcraft. Hide in the dark Cloud Dance. Kill the purple eye of the idea to shrink a little. If she hasn't been sucked away by the national master, maybe she'll be a little bit of a winner when she's unprepared. But now in the cloud frown, I do not know how to start at this time. In my mind, black proud voice came suddenly. Makitu, use the branch on your abdomen and cut off its tongue. Muktu? Yes, how could she forget the existence of that strange branch in her body? Although I don't know what it is. But from the beginning, it didn't seem to hurt her. He even helped her many times. Hayo, are you okay? When trying to mobilize the branches in the body, Yunwoo still couldn't help but ask. Before, it helped her to escape, but she didn't escape. On the contrary, she fought with the national teacher and nearly killed herself. It has a contract with her. When she dies, it must die. Hayo seems to be silent for a long time. Just when Yunwoo thought he would not answer, the low and dignified voice came. It's okay. Deal with what's in front of you first. I heard that Yunwoo's original heart was put down. And then, with her mobilization, the originally motionless branches in her body finally began to emerge quickly from her skin. I don't know why. Seeing the willows emerging from her skin, Yunwoo always has an illusion that it is a part of her body. However, this is not a time for distraction. At the moment when the willows came out, Yunwoo put her hand directly on the ground. Brush, brush. Willow, like that swift and violent spirit snake, turns into the rattan like the net, brushes toward that 6 levels of Warcraft shrouded in the past. Ben is a toad sleeping with his eyes closed. At that moment, it seems to be aware, suddenly open the beast eyes. Rustle dash, brush. The toad just wanted to stand up with a fierce thud. But at this time, he was tightly wrapped up by the willow vines coming out of the ground. Rustle dash, the purple sticky tongue, at the same time, spit out fiercely, trying to get rid of the wicker package. Dormant in the corner of the cloud, Isa-Lee. Let go. With the sound of cloud dancing, Ben tightly tightened the toad's wicker and quickly pulled down. That purple thick tongue, also in that homeopathy pop-up. At this moment, Yunwoo put a mat under his feet and jumped away. The ancient sword attacked the dark fire and cut it down. Poof! When the knife falls, the purple tongue falls and the blood splashes out. Quack dash at that moment, the toad roared like pain, and the huge sound sounded in the space. This can make Yunwoo's face change, and hold the sword tightly in his hand again, ready to wave it straight away. However, the next second, the roar of the toad stopped for a moment. Cloud Dance's movement also directly pauses rigid in the mid-air. The eye ground is so surprised color. I saw the willow that just wrapped the toad. The moment purple tongue was cut off and blood splashed on it. Green wicker, homeopathy like hot water like, into a purple red. For a moment, Yunwoo seemed to feel its excitement. Yes, just excited. It's like suddenly meeting something that makes you crazy, and you're out of control. Instantaneous. Brush. The wicker went straight into the toad's mouth and into its body. Hiss dash, not a few seconds. Originally a giant toad, it shrank a lot in the twinkling of an eye. When Yunwoo came back from the stupor, the toad in front of him had become a piece of dry skin. Blood? It's done. Meat? It's gone. Bones? There's nothing left. Just a few seconds, just a few seconds. Level 6 Warcraft, is it all gone? If seeing this, Cloud Dance cannot be surprised, then nothing can make her feel frightened. Hiss dash, a sound like a snake's breath came from the skin of the lump. Cloud Dance think goosebumps are some soaring. But the feet are rooted and can't move. I can only watch it. Looking at the purple willow, from the toad's pimple subcutaneous, slowly sliding out. And then it went down her feet and up her waist. Turn around, just like that, quietly wrapped around her waist like a belt. However, compared with the previous nothing. This time, she could clearly feel its breath of life. Just like a creature, it seems to have a cool temperature. It's weird. But Yunwoo didn't know why. Although seeing that scene, he felt that he was scared to goosebumps. But it always feels like it won't hurt her. It's a strange feeling. When I saw it, it was quiet for a while. Cloud Dance can only converge that mentality, and quickly grope toward the corner of the space. Because just that toad's movement, I don't know whether it will attract other Warcraft, or people click. The sound of touch. Then there was the sound of the stone gate moving again. When the stone door opened, A dazzling light suddenly illuminated the whole space. The cloud dances and frowns. When you get used to the light and see what's behind the stone gate. Cloud dance makes people feel silly. I didn't respond for a long time. What's going on? Underground ice city? Behind the stone gate is a city of ice sculptures. It's the ultimate breath of ice. Even standing outside the stone gate, Yunwu could clearly feel the chill. What's the matter? What's the matter? It's just for such a carved ice cellar? Cloud Dance can't help but frown and talk to himself. However, at the moment when Yunwu opened the stone gate, the sleeping man was in the ice cellar. But in that instant, the instant opened that pair of godless blue eyes. Silent, as if it was a cold corpse. However, after the man opened his eyes, the figure slowly sat up from the ice bed. Godless blue eyes, as if by what traction? Turn your head and look in the direction of the stone gate that Cloud Dance opened. And in the direction of blue eyes, the breath of ice cold, like in an instant and reduced several degrees. The ground that little icicle brush out. The sharp edges shining, and the cold is striking. If ordinary people see this scene, they will be shocked. However, still dancing in the clouds outside the stone gate, I don't know the scene at the other end of the ice sculpture. In the ice cellar, when the chill came, I couldn't help shivering and rubbing my arm. How cold! What the hell is this ice cellar for? Muttered a Cloud Dance footstep but still slowly toward inside walk. No matter how, can so much trouble let a group of Warcraft Guard, 6th-level Warcraft Guard, absolutely not on the time of an ordinary ice cellar. Now that it's here, Yunwu doesn't plan to return empty-handed. Even if this is an ordinary ice sculpture, she's going to destroy it. At least, it is necessary to let the National Master lose something. So that she ran all night and sneaked into the tiger's den. However, when walking into the ice cellar, Yunwu didn't close the stone gate. It's so cold. It's supposed to be frozen into ice when it's closed. But Cloud Dance just walked in. Bang! Without touching any switch at all, the stone door closed automatically. The speed was so fast that even Cloud Dance didn't respond. All of a sudden, it was a surprise. Almost at the same time, the fire element in the hand jumped up, illuminating the whole ice cellar with white cold. In this case, Yunwu's heart was inexplicably cold. With one hand holding the sword, the other hand leaping with fire elements, the purple pupil only sweeps around, and the eye ground is full of vigilance. Always feel not right, because this ice cellar seems too cold. She has the element of fire in her body. She feels so cold that her whole body feels scared and her blood clots strangely. That feeling. Inexplicably, it's similar to the feeling of that teenager when he used the cold goo fire. Cloud Dance can't help shivering. Is that the boy here? As soon as this idea passed through my mind, Yunwu's eyes suddenly sank and became more alert. But all around there was silence. There was no breath of people, no movement. Only the cold white air spread, and the carved ice sculpture. I can see that under her fire element, the ice sculptures around her are crystal clear and beautiful. And Cloud Dance is also slowly walking in, also roughly see clearly. This ice cellar, about 500 or 600 square meters, is very spacious, and the ice in the ice cellar is carved like a castle. Outside the castle, there is a small pavilion. Tables, chairs one by one, all of them are exquisite sculptures, which gives people a sense of being inhabited. Living? Does anyone live here? Originally, Yunwu was just a flash of doubt. But at this time, a small sound like footsteps suddenly came from the depths of the ice. The cloud dances, the eye bottom suddenly sinks cold. Is there someone? After a while, I vaguely saw a figure, which seemed to be coming out of the ice sculpture from the cold and white fog. That step very slow. But every step, it seems to hear the rustle of the icicle. And the cold air seemed to come with the approaching of the figure. Cold. It's very cold. Almost at that moment, Yunwu's eyelashes were frosted, and her lips and teeth were shivering with cold. Damn it! Who the hell is that? The sense of crisis in Yunwu's heart rises in an instant. At that moment, I wanted to turn around and retreat. But I found out. I don't know when her feet, actually from the ground ice to dip together, with the root-like In addition to the ancient sword in his hand, the fire element on his left hand, though not extinguished, was all wrapped in a layer of ice. What's going on? However, just when Yunwu's face sank, ready to stir up the dark fire of Guwu de Geo, the figure came out of the cold. That pair of blue eyes, meet the line of sight of Cloud Dance. At that moment, Yunwu felt that his body was shocked and his mind was attracted by the blue eyes. Blue, not the blue of the sky. It's the kind of glacial current that goes down to the bottom of the ocean. Extreme cold. It made her feel like her soul was frozen. Who are you? Low voice cold came. Can also be in that sound, was frozen like Cloud Dance, just suddenly slow God. Who are you? Cloud Dance almost came out with his question. It was a young man in his early 20s. Wearing a light blue dress, with blue eyes and white hair, her skin is extremely white, and her facial features are more beautiful than those of women. What a cool man. But I don't know why, the first time I saw him. Let people feel, always feel, this man is like an ice sculpture, not a person. From him there is no sense of popularity. On the contrary, the chill of the ice is full. When the man heard the question of Cloud Dance, his blue eyes seemed to flash a little. It was half a sound before he came closer to Yunwu again. With this approach, Yunwu's face almost changed, his whole body trembled with cold, and his lips turned purple. Damn it. It turned out that the cold of this place was emanating from him. What the hell is he? The man stopped 2 steps away from Yunwu. That pair of godless blue eyes, so straight staring at the cloud. You are the first human to ask me who I am after I wake up. I saw it, just as he was talking. Cloud Dance has already felt that the feet of the frozen feet, ice brush up, almost frozen to her calf position. A thin layer of ice began to form on him. The blood is frozen too. It's cold. It's really cold. But his words made Yunwu understand. It turns out that this man is not human at all. Before I'm completely frozen into ice. Cloud Dance is almost out of instinct, quickly will Chaos Palace. That is not easy to move the source of fire. To lead some. At the moment when the fire of origin comes out, Yunwu feels burned and painful. But when the ice on the body meets the fire of the source, click click, the tiny sound of ice breaking, ice-frozen blood, also began to warm back. The ice began to melt, however, just when the original fire breath of Yunwu began to melt the ice. That stand in the cloud opposite, ice-like expressionless man. Suddenly he frowned. That pair of godless blue eyes, like a flash of strange streamer. Are you hot? Strange question. Hot. She was burning inside, but outside, she was frozen into ice by him. All thanks to him. However, his strange question did not fall for a while. Also didn't wait for Cloud Dance to have reaction. See, he suddenly stretched out a hand, put the palm on her that shoulder. At that moment, hoo-hoo glacial cold, almost in an instant, such as the wind drama. He didn't give Yunwu a chance to react, so he turned Yunwu into an ice sculptor. Then he bent slightly straight on the horizontal, the Iceman's Cloud Dance to resist up. Yes. It's the kind that you can fight with your shoulders. Then turned around slowly, and went to the dark depths of the ice cellar. Shit. What is the situation? Cloud Dance at this time. I really want to be rude. However, her whole body was frozen into ice sculpture, and she could do nothing even if she wanted to speak. What makes her want to cry is that the fire that she brought out from the Chaos Palace is burning directly in her body. No retreat, no advance. Burning inside the body is extremely painful, but outside the body, it is constantly infiltrated by the strange cold. Ice and fire. What's that like? Ask Yunwu at this time. However, Cloud Dance but inexplicably feel out, in front of this man, did not kill her. It's just, where is he going to take her? Deep in the southern Warcraft forest, a cave. A young man who is adjusting his breath. All of a sudden, like feeling something, suddenly opened that pair of sharp eyes. Who broke in? As soon as his cold voice fell, his figure got up from the stone and walked out quickly. But as soon as I got out of the cave, and he saw a man in black with a mask outside. Young master, the Lord said, your body needs to rest here for a few days. As soon as the man in black saw the boy, He immediately opened his mouth respectfully. But that youth, slightly sank the facial expression. Immediately Lo Wei. I don't have anything to do now. You go to report that someone broke into the bamboo forest, and ask my father to come here. As soon as his words fell, and before the man in black opened his mouth, his figure was already in a flash. In the twinkling of an eye, he quickly went to the bamboo forest at the edge of the forest. No, master, the black-robed man wanted to pay back, so the Lord closed the door. But the boy's figure has quickly disappeared in the night. This side of the ice is underground. The cloud dance carried by the man, though, was frozen into an ice sculpture. However, the consciousness is very clear. I saw the man carrying her, has been to the depths of the ice. Deep in the ice. It's a structure inhabited by people. It has everything: beds, lampstands, tables. However, some of them are made of ice. But when you see this, you don't have to guess. Here, this is the man's room. It's just, what did he bring her to his room for? The cloud dances under the ice. After looking at the room, with eyes turning, I really don't understand what he is doing with her. Kill her? Eat her? Or torture her? It seems that it's okay just now. You don't have to bring it to the room, do you? However, when the man came near the room, he didn't stop at his feet. Just like that, he walked towards another passage of the room. When he finally stopped, Yunwu saw clearly the situation in front of him. Here is a space of about 10 square meters. And in the middle, it is a bath with cold breath. Is this a bathroom? No. What did he bring her to the bathroom for? And the answer soon came. I saw that the man put her down from under his shoulder, and then, as if no one else, began to stretch out his hand to take off her clothes. It's a drop. His hand seems to be able to penetrate the ice, across the ice, directly to take off her clothes. At this moment, the cloud dance under the ice sculpture changed his face. What the hell does this man want? Fortunately, after she took off her coat, because the purple willow around her waist was tightly wrapped, but she didn't take it off. However, Yunwu noticed that he seemed to be afraid of the purple willow. As soon as he touched it, his hand was withdrawn. What a poisonous thing! A murmur like a whisper came out of the man's mouth. And his blue eyes, also staring at the purple willow, and the undercurrent flickered. How poisonous! The purple willow? However, at this time, Yunwu's face changed again. If she can move at this time, her first action is to slap the man in the face. Damn it! Even the cheeky dragon Qing Xie didn't take advantage of her directly. But in front of her, his hand was directly in front of her right chest. How weak! On the man's exquisite face, he frowned and murmured to himself. Weak? What do you mean? Is it her little steamed bread, or it's too weak? I don't like people who are too weak. The man stared at Yunwu and muttered again. And this sentence, but is instantaneous, let cloud dance, feel the bottom of my heart at inexplicable anger rise. This damned Iceman. What the hell is he? Freezing her like this, holding the salty pig's hand close to her chest, and commenting in front of her. However, just when Yunwu was angry, the Iceman finally took back his hand. However, the moment she took back her hand, she was pushed into the pool with cold breath. Poof! Splashing water. Ice is also at that moment, brush frozen. Cold. How cold? When you touch the water in the pool, even if the cloud dance is frozen by ice, you can clearly feel the extremely cold feeling that can almost penetrate into the soul. Now don't talk about the blood, I'm afraid, even the soul is frozen. Consciousness is gradually drawn into the darkness. By the pool. The man with blue eyes did nothing. Just like that, standing quietly on the edge of the pool, blue eyes staring at the pool, directly frozen into a lump of ice cloud dance. Occasionally, though, the brow seemed to wrinkle. Discontented, muttered. So weak. How long has it been? I don't know. Anyway, it seems that there is no time in this frozen world. Until a figure came outside the stone door outside the ice cellar. That has been staring at the man in the pool, that pair of godless blue eyes, and finally had fluctuations. Turn around and walk out. Brush. The stone door opened and the chill came from the ice cellar. However, the boy who came in didn't seem to have any discomfort with the chill. He was originally a in body and had no body temperature. He didn't feel much about this degree of freezing. However, when I saw the light blue figure coming out, I frowned. Because of the chill on the man with blue eyes, even he had to retreat 3 feet. Youth, immobile. Ray's sharp eye son of looking at that to walk out of man, deep cold voice ask away. Is someone break in? In fact, when I saw the skin of the 6th level Warcraft outside, I saw the fighting trace with the cut purple tongue. He was certain that someone had broken in. The man with blue eyes, looking at immobile for a long time without expression, only then slowly opens the mouth. Has. Hearing this, immobile's eyes suddenly narrowed. Who broke in? Give me the man. The man with blue eyes still has no expression. She is mine. It's very soft and there's no mood swings. It's like just stating your own answers. Immobile's facial expression a shin. Sharp mouth sweeps toward that blue mouth man. Do you dare to disobey my meaning? Don't forget who you are, blue eyes man, that pair of eyes that have no spirit, but is not instantaneous cold stare at him. He didn't say anything, but the chill on his body seemed to pull down the surrounding temperature by more than 10 degrees in an instant. The cold and white fog rose. Immobile's face turned white under the chill, and he could not help but step back and stood outside the stone gate. She's mine. Blue eyes man is still the same sentence. The sound is still so gentle. But at that moment, ink white but feel out, blue mouth man voice of that calm under, unexpectedly seemed to exist in emotion fluctuation. He, a lifeless iceman, has emotions? Immobile was surprised. But then, a bad feeling came from my heart. Sharp eyes, suddenly narrowed a warning. If you dare to let others take the things you want to protect, even if I can't help you, my father will certainly let you go. Blue eyes man smell speech, seemed to be in meditation. Half a ring. Blue eyes man lift eyes, blue eyes and brush a touch of streamer. The next moment, hand a brush. Hoo a cold wind swept by. As soon as Immobile's face changed, his figure fell back subconsciously. But he stepped back, but directly out of the ice cave stone door. And it was then. Bang. The stone gate, directly in front of him, was heavily closed. Outside the stone gate, Immobile's face at this time, not to mention how ugly. He was kicked out? This has never happened. Damn it. What happened? Who is the intruder? How can an iceman without any emotion for 100 years produce such emotional behavior? Immobile's eyes were staring at the stone gate, and his fists clenched, which could only suppress his anger. For the man with blue eyes, he has no ability of positive suppression. It seems that his father can only come in person. The next day, early in the morning, in the towns of the border cities of the 3 kingdoms, another great news began to spread. I'm afraid that news will soon cause a sensation in the 3 kingdoms. Because Summoner disappeared for hundreds of years, appeared. It's just outside Nanshan on the border of Longshu State. The Summoner is not only a young girl, but also a member of 4 departments. The fighting capacity is so strong that it almost reaches the level of Wuzuan. And it was the Dragon Shugua, more than a dozen students of the Dragon Sky Warrior Academy, who spread the news. Yesterday, more than a dozen students who saw the battle with their own eyes rushed back to the college and quickly spread the news. However, the news of the national teacher was tacitly understood by more than a dozen students, and they didn't mention it directly. You know, they are the people of Long Shugua. If the secret of the national master is leaked, it is hard to guarantee that he will be killed or retaliated. Therefore, more than a dozen people directly avoid the heavy and pick up the light. As soon as the news comes out, it will spread 10 times, and it will spread 100 times in some cases. Of course, some are exaggerated. However, the news soon spread among the 3 countries. In the imperial city of Zhou Dynasty, General Yun's mansion. When the news came quickly, Yunqi, who is closing the Jingxing garden, is ecstatic as soon as he hears the news. Almost on the spot, they laughed. The laughter is so big that it can spread all over Yunfu. That can make the spies who come to spread the news be stunned. Old master, what's the matter? Is it exciting to hear that there is a summoner in Longziguo? It's not that. The old man has not asked about the affairs of the government for a long time, so he won't be in such a big mood. Of course, this spy will not know. Yunqi is overjoyed because he finally has the news of the girl. What's more, the girl has become a summoner. Summoner of the 4th department. It almost reached the level of Wuzuan. I'm afraid no one knows better than him what that means. How can this not make him ecstatic? It's just that. With that girl's steady temperament, she should not show her ability without words and reasons. The only possibility is that she had to use her own strength when something happened to her. I don't know. What happened to her? Now are you still in Longziguo? After this mood calms down, Yunqi can't help but feel a little impatient. Immediately, also with that spy order way. Go down. By the way, tell your General Yunda to clean up and come out with me. The Cloud General in his mouth is naturally Yunlingy. Last time, because he didn't go looking for Yunwu, Yunqi has been angry with him until now. However, no matter how angry it is, it's father and son. However, on the other side, in the underground ice cellar, the man with blue eyes turned back to the bath, after sending away the ink white. He stood quietly on the edge of the bath, staring at the ice sculpture like cloud dancing in the pool. Day after day. How many days later? The man with blue eyes has no idea of time. In his memory, there is no concept of time. In addition to open eyes staring at the ice in a daze, that is, close your eyes to sleep. Now come such a human, he opened his eyes to the object in a daze, also became her. It's just that. In the pool, the frozen clouds. At this time, he has gradually absorbed the ice on his body. Yes. It's absorption. See, that originally cover on her body, a big lump of ice, has gradually melted. Can melt out of that water liquid, but it is bit by bit into her body. However, it seems that because of her clothes, the water that seeps into her body is obviously a little slow. That's why, after so many days, it hasn't been absorbed. However, regarding that blue-eye man, he does not care. Anyway, in addition to closing his eyes to sleep, he was staring at her in a daze. That pair of blue eyes is still no expression. Can be staring at her these days, but it seems to gradually have a tiny different. As for what's different, some can't tell. The time in the ice cellar is still so quiet and lifeless. After consciousness is pulled black, Yunwu felt as if she had fallen into a deep sleep for a long time. When she recovered her consciousness, she's already in chaos. The rain, like the torrential rain, splashed over her head. The raindrop touched the skin cold. Straight let cloud dance feel all cold want to shiver. Skin. Just when Yunwu instinctively reached out and rubbed his arm. The touch of the physical entity made the cloud dance stun for a moment. What's going on? Then cloud dance quickly bowed his head, when clearly see his hands and feet. Another shock. Subconsciously he pinched his arm. When that clear came to eat pain feeling, suddenly let cloud dance eyes are staring big. How is she her body, in the palace of chaos? Although she often enters the chaos temple, but that is only the consciousness enters. But at this time she even came in? What's going on? Cloud dance at this moment is really a little dumbfounded. Isn't she frozen into ice by the man with blue eyes and thrown into the pool full of cold water? After that her memory fell apart. How come when she wakes up, she comes into the hall of chaos? After thinking for a long time, I really can't understand what happened. In the end, I didn't think much about it. Now that you're in, go and see the black fog. Second door. Death gate. Cloud dance in the heart read a move. The body directly disappeared. The first door space, directly into the dark dead door. However, compared with the first time to the depression, this time, Yunwu felt so relaxed and even had a sense of belonging. It's strange. However, Cloud Dance did not explore. But as soon as I entered, I looked at the corner. I saw that the huge figure of Hyo was still shrouded in black fog, and nailed to the ground by long nails. At this time, Black Proud Lo Su cold voice, from the corner. The body can come in. It seems that you are really lucky. Good luck? Yunwu didn't quite understand, but he still asked. Are you okay? Is there any way to take those nails off your body? Last time she was conscious. She couldn't help it. Now her body came in. Maybe she can pull out the nails. When Yunwu thought about it, her steps came closer. But as soon as he got close, he was bounced out by a resistance. It's no use. After a while, it will be relieved. Will nature lift it? Yunwu looked at the huge figure in the corner, shrouded in black fog, and felt that it was not so simple. By the way, I forgot to tell you something. You look for your space. Last time in the palace fire, I collected a box for you. The contents should be what you need. Black proud low voice comes again. Last fire? After hearing the words, Yunwu immediately moved his mind and consciousness into the space bracelet. 7 color gems, 7 spaces. For a long time. Finally, in the messy space, turned out a little familiar with the small box. This box is exactly the same as the box that was snatched from housekeeper Wu and Lu Qingyue. The clouds frown. However, with a flash of silver needle, it is still easy to unlock. Not surprisingly, there was a small piece of sheepskin in it. Second, the treasure map of the summoning temple. Cloud Dance looked at the missing picture in her hand, and her hand couldn't help tightening. It seems that the queen has been collecting the treasure map of the summoning temple. It's just that the fire was in the Longsun residence. How could this box and then? Also didn't wait for Cloud Dance too much meditation. Black proud voice suddenly deep spread. Go out. There's another piece under the pool outside. When you get it, leave here immediately. Another piece? Cloud Dance smell speech. Zhengleng a second. However, it also quickly reflected. The outside world. The man with blue eyes on the edge of the pool, looking at the Cloud Dance that suddenly disappeared from the ice, frowned tightly. It seems that some people don't understand how human beings suddenly disappeared. Ice will melt into water. Does human beings melt into water? It's impossible. How can the water in this pool melt people into water? The man with blue eyes frowned, as if he had been thinking about this problem. Until, under the ice, the figure of Cloud Dance appears again. The man by the pool, in his godless blue eyes, flashed a rare emotion. Where did you just go? This question is like asking the Cloud Dance under the ice. However, no one answered him. Because, as soon as Yunwu came out of the chaos hall, he couldn't care about the cold. Hold your breath. As soon as you turn over, you will break the ice and sink. Hyo said that there is a treasure map under the pool, which is sure to be correct. She already has 2 pieces. If you add the one in the pool, it will be 3. If you get another 4 maps of the location of the 4 treasure maps recorded on the dragon scroll, you can make up 7. The remaining 5 should not be hard to find. Just put together 12 pieces. Then we can locate the remains of the calling temple. She wants to be strong enough to be in this continent, not to be bullied by anyone, except cultivation. I'm afraid the only shortcut is in the calling temple. Today, she is not afraid to take a shortcut. Even if the risk index reaches its peak, she will definitely try. Because in this continent, the only terrible thing is that the strength is too weak. The world of the jungle. If she doesn't want to see anyone around her get hurt. The only way is to have enough strength. As soon as Yunwu's body sank into the depth of the pool, he found that there was a hole in the bottom of the pool. Under the deep water, the chill disappears and the sky is blue. What surprised Yunwu was that the deeper the water was, the thicker the aura of heaven and earth was. Even the water can feel the thick aura of heaven and earth. What does it represent? It seems that you don't have to guess. I'm afraid the real treasure in this ice cellar is under this pool. Cloud Dance at that moment, without any hesitation. The water element wrapped itself, and quickly dived toward the depth of the pool. Hua Hua. Just is trying to swim to the depths of the cloud. It seems that suddenly feel behind, something jumped into the water. Is it the man with blue eyes? He turned his head and swept his eyes behind him. In the blue water he didn't see any figure. No one. Is it that she's oversensitive? There was a little doubt in Yunwu's heart. However, he used both feet to swim deep. But at this moment, Yunwu's face suddenly changed. Because she felt an arm wrapped around her waist, strong and cold. Turn around. See that light blue transparent figure. Don't know when, unexpectedly at her side. She didn't see anyone. How come in the twinkling of an eye, you can't get in yourself, I'll take you. Just when Yunwoo's face was shocked, a man's voice came from his ear. I didn't wait for Yunwoo to react. Wow. The sound of breaking the water at high speed is just beside the cloud dancing ear. At that moment, Yunwoo didn't see everything around clearly, only felt a blue light brush passing quickly. By the time she recovered, she had reached the bottom of the water. What I saw in front of my eyes made Yunwoo fall into a daze for a moment. The dark blue curtain is full of glittering fluorescence, just like the stars all over the sky, beautiful and delicate. And dotted with the glittering fluorescence is the colorful coral water plants. This place is extremely beautiful. All around is filled with a breath of incomparable vitality. Is it such a world in the depths of a frozen pool? Who can imagine? Do you want that thing when you come in? When the cloud dance signs Lung to look around, the ear but spreads that blue Mao man's voice. Follow his finger. Cloud dance turns a Mao to look. Not far away, in a colorful coral water plant, there is a white ice with a big box. On the box, there is an ancient prophecy carved. It's similar to the prophecy on the box used by the queen. That should be it. However, Cloud Dance has no action. Instead, he turned his head and looked at the translucent blue-eyed man around him and asked, "Are you going to stop me?" Although I don't know what species he is. However, if he can be in this ice cellar, he can probably guess that his existence should be guarding these things. But I don't know why he didn't mean any harm to her from the beginning, even taking her to the bottom of the pool. Blue Eyes Man smelled speech, but didn't immediately open mouth, but eyes staring at that piece of white ice for a while. Half a ring. He turned to stare at the cloud and said, "If you are with me, I will give it to you." With him. Cloud Dance frowns looking at him. What do you mean? Live with me. Blue Eye Man face has no facial expression of reply way. Living together? This Cloud Dance eyes in slightly sink. However, in that second, an aura passed. Pursed tight red lips suddenly outlined slightly. Is not, as long as you live together, you are willing to do anything? Blue Eyes Man smell speech. Don't nod also don't shake head. Just with his blue eyes, quietly staring at her, strange and strange. However, in this moment of Cloud Dance, but not too much hesitation. Heart read a move, almost in an instant, low voice. Water system, the battle of contract. At that moment, a dazzling color light flashed. The strong atmosphere and mysterious array suddenly surged up from their feet. When feeling the breath, the man with blue eyes frowned. But at that moment, the Cloud Dance in the array and the man with blue eyes, in the moment of staring at the eyes, the consciousness seems to be instantaneously linked together. I made a contract, and from now on you will be my contract beast contract. Cloud Dance low voice of fall, purple pupil inside, a blue light flit by. At the same time, the array under their feet suddenly burst into blue light at that time. Under the dazzling blue light, between the two, it seems that a unique connection channel has been formed instantaneously. The light gathered and gradually turned into a blue light, which split into two. A shot into the blue eyes after the man eyebrows. Another, also shot into the cloud eyebrow. On the fingers, a light blue light gathers. In an instant, it turned into a blue ring and put it on Yunwoo's finger. At that moment, Yunwoo clearly felt that the water element in her body had changed strangely. I can see that in the water blue element, there seems to be a thin layer of ice. However, the contract was reached. The information about the man with blue eyes poured into her mind. It turned out that the man with blue eyes in front of him did not belong to the water system. It's an ice system that never existed in this continent. He's not human, he's not animal. Just by absorbing the aura of heaven and earth under the ground, it was transformed from the white ice of the spirit. His noumenon is actually the white ice soul just seen by Yunwoo. No name, no surname, and I don't know where it came from. But since I remember, I have lived in this underground water. 100 years ago, when the national teacher found him, he tried to subdue him, but he didn't succeed. After that, he built an ice cellar for him to live in. In exchange, he wanted to protect a box for the national master. He is a piece of ice soul, no 1-7 emotions, no mood. The first person I saw was the national teacher. So the exchange lasted for 100 years. Until she broke in. For the first time, he smelled so good from a human. Although in his eyes she is weak. But her breath was much better than that of the national teacher, which made him feel very comfortable. He liked it very much. Just want to be with her. So when he felt that she had set the contract to bind him, he did not resist. A contract is a smooth contract. However, Cloud Dance doesn't know that this ice spirit gathers the aura of heaven and earth. The ice spirit of the king of ice and snow has a great future. Now of course, even Bingpa doesn't know his origin, let alone Cloud Dance. However, it is only 10% of the contract. Originally in the water translucent blue eyes man, but in the ice soul into the body, and condensed into a real human form. Still blue eyes, white hair, fine features. But that pair of originally godless blue eyes, but has a look, pupil is that ice soul shape. The whole person seems to have changed, even the gas field is different. But at this time, boom, above the ice cellar, suddenly came the sound of vibration. The sudden shock let Cloud Dance along. Can't help but look up, looking up. What's the matter? He's here. He's calling me out. Blue Yu low cold voice, very calm of say. He of course refers to the national master, Mo Yebing. Cloud dances to pick eyebrow. Turn Mao to see the big box on the eye that coral. The eye ground quietly one wipe undercurrent to flash. But soon, with a brush in her hand, she put the big box of the ancient totem into space. Then let him wait. You have such a thick aura here. Is there anything else? Cloud Dance sees to Blue Yu of ask away. Anyway, if you want to leave, take all the good things with you. So as not to take advantage of the national teacher. Blue Yu hears speech. Also ignore the vibration that comes from above. He pointed to the place where the box had just been placed. The stone under the coral. Stone. Cloud Dance immediately cast the vision in the past. I saw that under the colorful coral, there was a little raised stone. However, it seems that it is nothing special with the stones under it. However, Blue Yu all said that certainly can't be vulgar. Yinwu reaches out and tries to get rid of the corals. But as soon as she touched her hand, a sharp pain came from her fingertips. Blood, oozing from her fingers. As soon as she entered the water, Yunwu saw that there was a faint golden light in her blood. What's going on? However, don't wait for Cloud Dance to be stunned. At this time, Blue Yu but a forward, grasped her that hand, send directly to the mouth. This action, let Cloud Dance directly is a sign lung again. When the reaction comes over, the corner of the mouth takes out. In a moment it was a force, and he pulled his hand back from his mouth. Frown at that face, enjoy Blue Yu. What are you doing? The Blue Yu hears the sound, as if just came back from that sweet silk delicacy. That pair of ice soul blue eyes, deep like looking at the clouds light way. Delicious. Delicious? This sentence makes Cloud Dance feel messy in the wind. He said, isn't Numenon a piece of ice? It's not Warcraft. Do you like to drink human blood? However, just now her blood was stained with golden light. What's the matter? When Yunwu thought about it, his mind was already looking inside. Before, after coming out of Chaos Hall, she thought about the treasure map that Hyo said. So she didn't pay more attention to her own changes. But this is not the case. But let Cloud Dance the bottom of my heart tremble. Purple pupil pass a touch of surprised color. I saw that the veins and muscles in her body were dyed with a layer of golden light. Mysterious and sacred. Inexplicably, let her feel, there is a very noble pride, gradually rising from the bottom of my heart. Suddenly there is a strange feeling of superiority. How could that be? You have awakened the third witchcraft power of the witches. And your blood has been purified, so your body can enter the Chaos Hall. Cloud Dance heard the black proud words in her mind, but she couldn't react for a moment. The third power of witchcraft? Is blood purified? Why, she didn't feel anything. Think about the first and second awakening before, the agony. But for the third time, I didn't feel anything although you have awakened the power of witchcraft for the third time. You are not the opponent of the man above. black proud but at this time, and added such a sentence. But it is also this sentence, let Cloud Dance wake up completely. All the feelings of consternation seemed to disappear in an instant. Yes. Now, it's not the time for her to be surprised and delighted by her slight change. Gather your mind. Cloud Dance immediately slants ahead, toward nearby Blue Yu. Ask away. Lan Yu, what's the matter with these corals? Just now her hand, obviously felt bitten by something. But the coral doesn't look different. Lan Yu's eyes, from the beginning, seemed to be very curious, looking at the Cloud Dance of mood fluctuation. However, when she asked, she replied, that coral is alive, just drive them away. When Lan Yu said that, he already reached out and brushed the corals. Brush sharp like the ice, straight hit the colorful coral. See, that coral and feel that ice. Immediately with a long foot like brush surging up. In the twinkling of an eye, you can see that the colorful coral water plants just disappeared in an instant. The speed is so fast that Cloud Dance is a bit silly. However, just at this time, Yunwu suddenly felt a tight waist. Wait for Yunwu to look down. But see that wrapped in her waist purple willow, Schwa left a shadow, straight after those corals. It's like chasing prey. In an instant it disappeared. That's poisonous. Be careful. Ear. Suddenly came the voice of Blue Yu. He has said this sentence for the second time. But Yunwu didn't pay much attention to it. Because its root are still rooted in her body and abdomen. This purple and red willow is just a branch. No matter how poisonous it is, it doesn't seem to poison Ben Zhen, does it? However, at this time of Cloud Dance, the corner of the eye actually swept that before coral shrinks in the stone position. His eyes suddenly brightened. Because as soon as she saw the stone, the tornado was in her mind and gave her a message. Cold ice jade. Frozen for thousands of years and jade for thousands of years. It has the power of condensing the aura of heaven and earth, and can consolidate the foundation of cultivation. It is the most precious medicine for cultivation and cultivation. No wonder she said that the water here has such a strong aura. It turned out that it was the cold ice jade that gathered the aura of the earth. This is a rare treasure. Good. She took it. The Cloud dances the corner of the mouth to smile to lift up, then turn ahead, toward Blue Yu Wei. Help dig it out for me. Anyway, Chaos Hall is also a good place to gather the aura of heaven and earth. If there is such a piece of ice jade, it would be more perfect. However, Cloud danced that words fall, but let Blue Yu alone. Dig it out. I'm afraid it's the first time that he has a silly look. Cloud Dance nods. Yes, such a good thing, can't cheap that national teacher. She's here to take the good things. Even if a grass has some value, she will never leave it. If she can't take it away, it will be destroyed. Lan Yu frowned, as if thinking for a while, then nodded. Well, you leave here first. I'm afraid I'll hurt you when I do it. As for the weakness of Cloud Dance, he seemed to feel that it was too weak from the beginning. Cloud Dance is a bit depressed. Isn't it just a small piece of cold ice jade as big as the tabletop, which can also hurt her? However, Lan Yu seems to feel what Yunwu thinks. Leaning over her head, her blue eyes looked at her leisurely and said, this stone extends the whole underground. If it is dug out, it will collapse directly here. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.